Hi everyone, so this is the ultimate guide you need to start an AI business today. I hope it's clear by now that AI is not a passing trend. It's transforming every industry and all the biggest companies in the world are investing heavily in it. If you listen to the brightest minds in tech, they'll all tell you if they were starting today, they'd go all in on AI. There's honestly no space with more opportunity right now. Businesses have to implement AI. It's not optional anymore, it's a necessity. And that's where you come in. You can bridge that gap for them. With AI solutions, you are solving a huge pain point for your clients and at the same time setting yourself up with a real sustainable business. My goal with this video is simple: give you a clear roadmap, the tools, and all the practical methods you need to actually offer these solutions to businesses that need them. This is all based on our real-world experience, what we've done over the last year to launch, run, and scale an AI agency to over $20,000 monthly recurring revenue. Here's how this video is going to work. I'm going to keep it extremely practical. Think of this as a real task-based roadmap. We're going to use a Gantt chart table for launching your agency. I use this chart all the time myself. It's hands down the best way I've found to stay consistent, organized, and actually get things done. On the left side, you'll see the specific blocks of tasks. The top row is days, so you'll dedicate certain days to certain tasks. Just, color the cells here and you've got your daily roadmap. You always know what you need to do and when. For every block of this roadmap, I've made a dedicated chapter in this video to walk you through it. So you'll get a manual on how to complete each task, plus supporting resources like SOPs, toolkits, and more. You get the schedule, the task list, explanations, all the tools you need to get it done. The only thing left is to actually take action. Save this video, use it as a reference. Feel free to watch it in chunks, but use it. Use this blueprint to get started quickly and avoid all the usual mistakes. And by the way, all these materials, the Gantt chart, SOPs, email scripts, sales scripts, proposal templates, contract templates, even website designs and solution templates like dashboards, chatbot widgets, and UIs are available in my new exclusive community that you can join following the first link in the video description. If you want to save a ton of time and money, just jump in and grab all the resources we've spent a year building and fine-tuning. Now, this video is really about the business side of launching an agency, not the technical stuff. For the technical side, well, first of all, there are tons of tutorials on YouTube on low-code and no-code tools, including my channel. But if you want to build custom and more sustainable solutions, you'll need real technical skills. So you can either hire or partner with a developer or level up yourself. And for that, we have a dedicated crash course that teaches you the most important 20% of skills to get 80% of the results. Check out the link below if you're interested. And just so you know, most of the chapters in this video are straight from our program. Think of this as a sneak peek into the kind of value we offer on the business side of launching an AI agency, but the real value of the program lies in our in-depth technical crash course, our hands-on support, and the community. So enjoy this preview, and if you love what you see, there is so much more in the full program. Now I'll show you how I conduct market research, how I'll do the niche analysis. I have this working file and I'm going to share it with you. Let me just walk you through it and which steps we should take here. The first step is niche research. And then you have some methods on how to do it, how to approach it. YouTube and Google search as an insider. What I mean by that, let's say you run a dental clinic, you're a dentist, right? So you pretend to be a dentist and you use YouTube and Google search to find some kind of an advice on how to accelerate your business. And once you start actually searching, you'll find a ton of different channels, a ton of different blogs, sites, etc. dedicated to this industry. And then you can go through that content, let's say there is, let me just quickly show you. So there is a video on YouTube, 3 ways to improve new patient conversion. Obviously, this channel is dedicated to dentists. So I can go to these videos and then just sort by popular and see what are the requested topics, what is in demand for people that are representatives for a particular industry, for a particular niche. Yep, so that's the way to research it in YouTube, in Google. Just pretend to be an insider and analyze which kind of content is performing the best. That way you'll find out which questions, which problems people are trying to solve using these search engines. All right, the next option here is ChatGPT brainstorming. I think you don't need any guidance on that. Prompting, iterating, and use ChatGPT as a co-pilot to help you brainstorm which kind of problems you can solve for which kind of industries, and then construct your hypothesis and validate it through talking to users. Talk to people you know, domain experts. So this is a really good one because you already have a rapport with people you know, so you can just meet them up and discuss problems in their business. So that's a good one. And analyze startups. Analyze startups is really my favorite one, probably because the founders of those startups, they've done a ton of work researching the industry, validating the ideas, doing customer interviews, and so on and so forth. And when researching a startup, you can find a ton of founder interviews where they pitch their startups. So they specifically, the startup pitch looks like that. This is the problem and this is our solution. So you can use their interviews, you can use their pitches to venture funds, etc., to understand how they present the problem and how they present the solution to that problem. And if they do well, most probably the problem solution fit exists for that particular startup. Also, we can use a ton of case studies. Usually they do showcase different case studies of how they helped a particular business. They usually present a lot of stats on their site. So you can use all of that to help you researching the industry. The second step is about problem solution hypothesis. So you need to get clear pain points, right? And then build a clear map in Figma or Miro or any other tool you like to visualize a flow chart or mind map, and you need to build that map with their business process and problems on the way. And then based on that, you can come up with your solutions, right? So let me show you how I try to do that for hotels. All right, so I tried to break down the whole business process for hotels, all of their standard operating procedures. So there are customer service, bookings, check-in, check-out procedures, personalized guest experiences, customer loyalty, and then I try to identify which kind of problems they might face within that particular domain. Okay, they provide customer service via email, WhatsApp, Messenger, website chatbots, phone calls, or offline as well. The problem is that, well, according to my understanding, according to my research, hotels often struggle to provide personalized and prompt customer service during peak times. I think that's true. There is a lack of 24/7 support sometimes and language barrier, right? Then the solution to that would be, of course, AI chatbots, right? AI chatbots connected to the hotel's knowledge base and GPT, deployed to all communication channels and the website, available in rooms via QR codes, 24/7 support, speaks any language. Then I tried to elaborate, so these chatbots can provide customers with check-in, check-out procedures, 24/7 check-in instructions, room instructions, recommended places, hidden perks, etc. So all of that could be contained in chatbot's knowledge base and it could be provided to customers. And then I even tried to craft my messages, my cold emails, or any kind of outbound campaigns using this flow, using this problem and this solution. And I came up with prevent the loss of up to $40,000 every year in potential revenue due to service delays and language barriers. Equip your hotel with our 24/7 AI chatbot, accessible with a simple QR scan, cutting down guest wait times, blah, blah, blah. So just to let you know in advance, it never worked. So my conversion rate from this kind of outreach campaigns was 0. All right. I watched a video on YouTube, like some guy, Liam Otley interviewed a guy who sold like $60,000 packages to hotels, and they quickly discussed those packages, the solution included in that package. And based on that conversation, it was exactly like I broke it down here. It would be like a chatbot, it would be integrated to WhatsApp, accessible via QR code in the rooms. So I listened to that interview. I've done some research on my own. I've analyzed some startups, and based on that, I constructed a hypothesis. I never validated it. I never had a chance to actually talk to hotel owners. I tried to find a shortcut, right? I tried to skip that step, and I pushed my cold emails, pushed my outreach campaigns right away, and it never converted. So just sharing with you my honest experience, how it looked like. So it was like a package solution. I identified a problem per process for booking procedure, for check-in, check-out procedures, for all of that. And then you can check it out. Of course, I'm going to share this as well. So yeah, that's the way to construct your hypothesis. Try to break down all the standard operating procedures for a particular business as detailed as possible. Construct your hypothesis and then make sure to validate it before you invest in your outbound campaigns. Yeah, so step number 3 is hypothesis validation, what I just discussed. And step number 4, start the outreach. I'm going to discuss the outreach in my next modules, but I want to mention right away that video dedicated to your niche works great. You want to put it in your like on your website. Other words, it's VSL, video sales letter. We're going to discuss that a lot in the next modules. And after the first sales, make sure to prepare the case studies, share them on your website, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, if you run a YouTube channel, which you should. And I'm going to mention that many times during this course. All right, let me quickly show you how I break it down into niche, solution ideas, pain points, and then just some comments. So my initial idea was to do it using iterations. So during month 1 of my agency operations, I wanted to test the hospitality niche, the hotels. Then if it didn't work out, I wanted to go for e-commerce, then dental and cosmetics. So I know you've heard many times about all these niches. So imagine poor dentists, everybody is bombarding them with cold emails, all of that. Everyone wants to, to help them save money on missed leads and so on. So yeah, you can definitely follow this workflow, but there is a niche, then solution ideas, then pain points, customer service scalability, check-in and check-out efficiency, personalized guest experiences, customer review management, all of that. Then I had some discussion with ChatGPT. You can check it out. So yeah, you can definitely use this particular workflow, but try to avoid shortcuts. You must put in a lot of time and efforts to validate your hypothesis. Our experience is that we just tested hotels and then we never moved on to the next niches because we started generating leads from YouTube. And since then, I just get my leads to my agency from YouTube. I don't do any cold outreach. Don't start the outreach campaigns based on your hypothesis. I know you might be tempted to just craft your cold emails and start sending them out, but the conversion rate will be close to 0. That's our experience, okay? Instead, try to focus on talking to those potential customers and validating your idea first, your problem solution hypothesis first, and then you can start selling it. All right, I have the greatest video on how to talk to users. It is published by Y Combinator, the most prominent startup accelerator in the world, and it is very well described how to talk to users, which mistakes to avoid, and so on. So definitely use that video as a playbook on how to conduct those customer interviews. So let's quickly cover these questions in my talk to users cheat sheet. First of all, who should I talk to? The first tip here is people in your network. You already have a contact established. You can talk about their business or their problems casually, right? So if you know someone from that industry that you're thinking to work with, then try to get that person on a call or just meet them casually and discuss that problems. It could be a coworker or a former coworker, people you don't know. And I mentioned here LinkedIn, Reddit forums, Discord forums, Facebook groups, in-person events. All of that can work. My favorite channel is LinkedIn. The response rate is very high. If you don't sell anything, but just try to get connected with the person, build a bit of a rapport, and then jump on an interview with them, that's totally fine. And LinkedIn works really great. How to interview potential users? The best way to do it is via video or phone or in person. It shouldn't be emails or something like that. Build rapport to make them comfortable to answer the questions. Obviously, don't introduce your idea or product. Doing this early can bias their answers. And that is something that is really hard to avoid doing, right? You want to validate your hypothesis. So you want to ask them, okay, I know you have this problem. Do you think this solution would solve it? Don't do that. You must listen to them telling you about their problems. Don't help them. Don't help them with answering, okay? Don't introduce your solution. Don't introduce your hypothesis, nothing. You just want to get more information about their business processes. That's it. And then if you listen to it carefully, you can either validate your hypothesis or understand that the problem is not there because they never mentioned it. Okay, listen, don't talk, don't pitch, don't explain the pain or solution. Ask open-ended questions, what I just discussed, and record or at least take notes, because if you do a lot of these interviews, it will be a total mess. Make sure you have structured notes per potential customer, and then you can go through them, analyze, iterate, and then construct your new problem solution hypothesis. Questions to ask. Tell me how you do this or that today. What is the hardest thing to do? What is the hardest thing about doing that? Why is that hard? So all these questions you can use to understand if they really experience the problem or not. Ask follow-up questions. Don't ask these questions. Will you use our product? In our case, will you use our service? For example, would you use AI automation for customer support in your company? Yes, of course I would. Don't ask that. You need to identify that based on their stories, not asking questions like this. Which features would make our product or service better? Again, don't ask that. They have no incentives to say no to any features. Don't ask yes/no questions. You want explanations, right? With as many examples as possible. How would a better product look like to you? Don't ask two questions at the same time. So question, answer the whole one, a complete one, not yes or no answer, and then you move on. Just follow that video from Y Combinator and you'll be fine. So the whole cycle looks like this. First, construct a hypothesis. Then you need to validate it through talking to users. After doing these customer interviews, at least 10 to 20 high quality interviews, you should synthesize your learnings and make a conclusion. Either the problem is there and you're going to solve it and you know how to solve it, or the problem is not there and then you go back to constructing a hypothesis for a problem solution and then you repeat the whole cycle. But if you confirm, if you validate that the problem is there and I can solve it, then you can start selling it. You can start building your outbound lead generation campaigns. And at this point, if you decided that you can do it, that there is a problem you can solve, you'll know precisely which language to use in your outreach campaigns, because you've got it confirmed many times through your customer interviews. So that's the approach, and we are going to cover how to do the outbound lead generation campaigns. In this module, we are going to discuss which kind of minimum viable actions you need to take in order to establish a good branding for your business. And then I will walk you through the toolkit that we use at our agency, and maybe you decide to use it as well. I'll explain why we selected those particular tools, and if it makes sense to you, feel free to use it as well. So after our previous module about niche selection and niche analysis, by now I assume you have a strategy, right? You understand which niche you're going to target because you have a specific context or some kind of a unique insight, how to go and actually approach that niche. Or maybe you decided to start with a general purpose services, general purpose agency, let's say, as I do, right? And get as many leads as possible, providing different solutions to different industries, different kinds of business. And then during your execution, you can actually talk to users and identify a repetitive problem. And after that, you niche down. But in any case, you need to have some kind of basic branding in place, a name, a website, a business email, and some kind of basic standard operating procedures in order to run your business. All right. So my approach here is, first of all, avoid perfectionism. Very often it equals procrastination. And what I mean by that is that very often people try to make their website perfect before even start their business, right? They try to fine tune all the buttons, the structure, the layout. They invest money into web design and so on and so forth. You don't need that. You just need to make it workable. You need to be able to land users on your website, enable them to submit a form on your website or schedule a meeting or just get in touch with you, and that's it. And you also want to present yourself. What are your services? So let's discuss the structure in a while. The second rule is 20-80 rule. So you need to identify what 20% of your actions can deliver the 80% of the result. And I try to stop for a moment and actually reflect which kind of actions can bring the most result and focus on those actions. And then remember, you can always get back to your website and make it more professionally designed. You can always restructure your services. You can always change it. You can amend, but focus on generating leads and closing your sales calls before you actually invest time and money into your website. And then once the concept is proven, you can always optimize. You can always get back to this. So I'd suggest that you dedicate up to 3 days to set up everything related to branding and Toolkit. I think that's enough, but you still have to do it because you don't want to seem unprofessional, like contact me at bogdan@gmail.com and let's discuss it. Now, you need to have some kind of business representation. So let me show you how to do it. First of all, name and branding. You can decide whether you want to associate it with your name or not. It depends on your personal brand. 100% of my leads come from my YouTube channel, so I decided to name it the same way. My YouTube channel is called Bo Sar, and my AI agency is called Bo Sar Agency. So I want that association. But if you don't, you can always brainstorm and select the name that would be not related to your name. That's up to you. I suggest that you use Namelix and ChatGPT for brainstorming. Namelix is a great tool. You can enter all the keywords, the nature of your business, and then they use AI, of course, and they will generate a bunch of names which you can use for your business. Then logo, again, do not overdo. You can generate it with AI. There are different resources, just Google it and try to generate a logo. You can even skip it. I have this little pretzel as my logo, and I doubt that anyone ever noticed that it means like B and S. So it's like Bo Sar, B S, and overall it somehow reminds the logo of ChatGPT. So some kind of association with AI, and that way I came up with this particular logo. But you can even skip it for now and just use the name of your agency as a logo whenever you need to, and then move on. And then theme colors and fonts. You want to be consistent with your branding, so make sure to select a bunch of like colors and maybe 2 fonts to use them across all your platforms and websites and everywhere. And I have 2 fonts that I reserved for my agency. Next up, we have domain. So once you have your name, you need to purchase a domain. It should be either .com, .io, .ai, or perhaps .agency if you start an agency. I have the description for all these extensions here, just in case you're curious. AI is basically for companies specializing in artificial intelligence, machine learning, or automation. So AI would work great, but now it is very expensive, one of the most expensive ones. So agency might be a good trade-off to save money, and to kick off as soon as possible. But yeah, if you're positioning yourself as an AI and automation service provider, which you do probably, .agency could work well. That's why I decided to go for it. So it kind of highlights that you offer tailored and specialized services to other companies. There are 2 top providers for purchasing domains, Namecheap or GoDaddy. I usually use Namecheap, so you can just select the name you want to use. Let's say Bossar, just to make it different. Search, and you'll find different options. Bossars.com is actually very cheap. Yeah, so you can just play with it, select the best domain in terms of price and value, and then go for it. All right, SSL is a must. Again, nothing complicated here. So once you purchase your domain, you just select this SSL. SSL means that your site is going to be displayed as secure. Whenever you go to a website, you can go here, and there is this lock, which is signaling that the connection is secure. And if you don't have SSL certificate, it will say this site is insecure, which you obviously don't want to have on your website. Next, we have email. Professional email address is a must. It's non-negotiable. You don't want to contact any leads, any businesses with your name at gmail.com. It should end with your business domain. So in my case, it's Bogdan at bosar.agency, business domain. Otherwise, nobody would perceive it as a business professional. Nobody uses gmail.com representing a company, right? If you represent yourself as an individual, of course, that's all right. But if you want to make business and represent a company, you must have a professional email. You can use Gmail or Outlook for that. I use Gmail. Both Namecheap and GoDaddy that we just discussed, they have kind of pre-configured options to connect your domain to Gmail or Outlook and set up your DNS records. I'm not going to show you this step by step because it's very obvious that there is a button connect Gmail and you just follow the steps. Or if you're lost, just Google it. There are a ton of YouTube tutorials on how to connect Namecheap domain with Gmail, so you won't be lost there. I don't want to waste your time. And then also create a signature. By signature, I mean something like this here, as you see. And this video, 3 minutes video, will show you how to do it step by step. Next up, we have website design. And there are many ways to do it, but I've selected 4 options to include on this slide. So the first option is to build it yourself. You can either use like custom design and code it yourself, or you can use a website builder such as Wix or WordPress. Those are very popular. There are many tutorials on YouTube how to use Wix or WordPress, so you can do that. Another option is to hire a web design agency, and I do recommend these guys, studio.natural20@gmail.com. I need to tell them to change their email to a business one, right? But anyway, they do a great job. They are really professionals, so you can contact them and use their services. But you need to invest here, right? You need to have a budget of at least 1,000 euros, 1,000 to 1,500 euros to prepare that website. So it's pretty costly, but if it doesn't matter to you, you can just delegate the whole thing with website and forget about it. They will prepare a ready-to-use website. Another option is to use a template. So you can use something like this one, Nebula AI. They kind of prepare this site for AI agencies. It looks pretty nice, quite clean. I like the UI, and obviously you can amend it and adapt to your needs. I think this template costs like $49, but it is based on this tool called framer.com. So you can use this template, but you will have to pay a monthly fee for using Framer. And the last option here is to use Bosar Agency's design. I decided to give it away for free to our community members, so you already save a ton of money if you use it. We actually paid for this design. So you just need to create a new file, new design file, and then click on this bosar.com, copy, then go to your file, paste it, and here you can make the amendments. You can change the fonts. Obviously, please do change the colors, the fonts, maybe the text, and adapt it to your branding. But the overall structure and layout is for you to use for free. You're welcome. You just need to hire a developer on Upwork or something like that, or Fiverr, and just pay them a few hundreds of dollars to actually develop a site based on this design. Next up, we have a website structure. These are the must-haves according to me. Main page, services, solutions, meaning your offer. Then we have team, testimonials once you complete your first few projects, and also intro video might work really well, but I think it is good to include your intro video like on the main page once you understand very well which niche you target, right? And then you direct your VSL, video sales letter, towards that particular niche, all right? And then call to action. Of course, you need to place a few CTA buttons in across your whole website, right? Let me show you a few examples of this structure. So this is my site. This is our main blog. We build AI automations for lead generations, CRM management, sales funnels, and so on, and quick CTA button, let's talk. So our leads can submit a form here, and we will qualify them and we'll get in touch. I'll show you later how to do it. Then we have services. So we break down which kind of services we can provide. Again, each of these buttons is a CTA button, call to action button. And then we have discover more for individual consulting. Here you can book a call right away because it's for a consultation and it is paid $300. And then it's like different CTA for different contexts here. Then our process, we decided to describe which kind of process our leads can expect once they start working with us. So intro call or discovery call. We need to understand the strategy, the deliverable that needs to be provided, and then implementation. So 3 steps, well described. Our team, a few words about me and Nick, our LinkedIn profiles. So we want to put your face on your website because then you just get more trust when you do that. And then another CTA, call to action button, contact us. Here I decided to schedule your consultation with Bossar AA today, and they would be redirected to a Calendly form right away. But this one is with a paywall, so they wouldn't be able to schedule a call unless they pay $300. And then some contact details, your email, my YouTube channel, just to show, again, they go to my YouTube channel, they can check out my videos, understand our expertise, because I usually show my tutorials step by step, so they understand that we know what we do. And that's it. Very clean and very minimalistic, so I don't include a lot of things here. Actually, we do have some testimonials now, I just don't have time to include it here. I think once we have time, we'll include a few videos with our clients to have some testimonials, because it triggers credibility. But for now, we have more projects that we can handle, so no rush with that. Let me show you a few more references from other AI agency owners. So Integraticus, this is Yanis's website. If you don't know, Yanis is a great guy and he is very proficient in AI voice-based solutions. So he's an expert in VAPI. This is his website, Innovative AI Solutions. Again, main blog. There is a call to action button where you can submit a form, what we do, so our services or our offer, the same as us, right? And then again, call to action button, and about, you can go and check who Yanis is. Again, he showcases his videos on YouTube right away to demonstrate he is an expert. A few words about him, social media, and then he has a dedicated page for AI voice solutions because he has selected his niche, right? He, in terms of deliverables, in terms of solutions, he knows what his weapon is, AI voice solutions. So he decided to include a dedicated page to this particular type of AI agents. Let's see, more inside AI. This is AI automation agency by Liam Otley. I'm sure you know him. So again, he has home, services, team, and one additional page which I didn't mention is blog. So it's up to you. You can do that. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but you can include whatever you want. Again, try not to overdo it. Try to save time as much as you can and actually start generating leads, doing your sales calls, and then you can always create a new page, which would be a blog or something else. OmniFusion, again, about, solution, testimonials, benefits, all you need to do. So main page, right, main blog. They included some partners here to boost the credibility even more, right? Then solutions, so what they provide. Testimonials, which looks really great with videos. So I think they redesigned the website recently. So overall, everybody follows this structure because it just makes sense. There is one more for a niched solution. So these guys, Mark and Taha, they direct a specific niche with their AI voice agents, and they basically already packaged their solution into something like a SaaS, right? Software as a service. So you can basically select which features you'd like to have, and then you're going to pay a monthly fee like you do with any SaaS tool. So just use these references for inspiration. I included all of them in this file and more, so you can just go to competitors and check out all these guys that really have successful business. I know because I'm in touch with them and I know that they generate a lot of revenue from their agencies. So yeah, you can analyze them. You can analyze their YouTube channels as well, just something for you to check out and use them for your website creation. Then we have a calendar. Obviously, Calendly is the most prominent tool here. You can use it for free, but if you opt in for a standard package, which is, let me select build monthly, which is $12 per month. You can use two more features that we do. The first one is integration with Stripe for consultation events. So what you saw here, when you go to scheduling page, you will see $300 paywall here. And if you try to book a consultation, you will have this Stripe integration to pay for it, and it will be transferred to your Stripe account right away. So this is not available within free plan, but within standard one, you can do it. Another thing that is very useful within this standard plan is automate reminders, reconfirmations, and follow-ups. So basically, whenever someone schedules a meeting with you, like a discovery call, you can set up an automation within Calendly to remind them according to your schedule, like 1 hour before the meeting or 1 day before the meeting, and again 1 hour before the meeting, and that way reduce the no-show rate for your sales calls. So in my case, Calendly looks like this. I have only two event types: intro call for discovery calls and consulting call for consulting calls. You can go to editing, and here it is very straightforward and self-explanatory, so I'm not going to dive deeper, but yeah, I suggest that you use Calendly. It is free until you need any advanced features. Let's move on. The next slide is about CRM. I know that many people use Go High Level. I never actually used it, so I can only tell you about what I use. And I use Airtable. Again, that was just a quick decision to begin with something. And I find Airtable quite useful. Let me just show you. So obviously I'd have to blur all our contacts here because it's a sensitive information. But there is a name, website, email, phone, budget, how can we help you question, and then statuses, right? Status can be whatever you set, of course. In our case, we have new. Whenever a lead submits a form on our website, they would appear here as a new. Then we have call scheduled, implementation, which means we've closed the deal and the project is in the implementation stage, proposal presented, exploration stage. Then sometimes we get partnerships requests or consultations requests, no reply, unqualified, backlog, and done. So you can break them down into these sections according to the status. And what I like here is that the whole experience is very smooth. It is quite automated. You can create a new form. Just go to forms within your table. Here you can set up the questions you want to ask, right? And then publish form. And then once you publish it, you can embed it on your website. So if you go to Bosar Agency and you click on Let's Talk, this form is provided by Airtable. You'll see even the logo because we don't upgrade even, we use it for free. So you can leave your contact details here, and our leads that submit this form, they would appear instantly in our database here in our pipeline, right? And then I get notifications that we have a new lead, and we can analyze them, we can get in touch, and basically go through our pipeline. So yeah, the whole process is very automated. You have the form without any development from your side. It is all for free. Also, if you want to, you can do a ton of automation with Airtable. Free tier is very flexible, seamless form to CRM flow, what I explained. So they submit a form and they appear in my table in my CRM. A ton of possibilities with automations and Dev Hub. So basically, when you are on your table, you can go to this automations tab and build the whole automation. It can be triggered when a new lead appears in your table, and then a sequence of emails is launched or something else. There are a ton of flexibility and possibilities. You can use make.com. There is a pre-configured module from Airtable, and you can basically trigger it with a webhook. So very, very flexible. But for us to start with, you can use a free version and already have a form on your website and all the leads in your table. To me, it works pretty well. If you were interested in make.com automations using Airtable, I'd highly suggest checking out this guy, Stephen G. Pope. He has like longer videos and he works a lot with Airtables. Like on this screen, you can see it's Airtable, and he demonstrates a lot how to build automations using Airtable. So you can check it out if you want. And then the next slide is about Slack and Jira. This is more about your operations. Slack, it's very optional. we actually don't use Slack a lot. You can use it for internal communication, right? Just to communicate with your developers or partners or colleagues, but also for projects. So if you have a complex project, you can, let me quickly show you. This is our Slack, right? We have different channels. So if you have a new project, you can create a channel in Slack and add your clients to that channel and ad hoc discuss any urgent matters in Slack instead of just emailing them back and forth. But there are advantages and disadvantages with that approach, because there are many clients that want a lot of your attention, and sometimes it is better to communicate via email because you can actually reply after a certain period of time when it's an email. But if they message you on Slack, they kind of expect you to reply sooner, so they might disturb you more. To me, we decided to use Slack only with more complex projects where we have a lot of questions. But if it's a straightforward chatbot or an agent, something like that, we stick to emails. So both are free for our goals, that said. So you need these for clean project management. Once you have 5+ projects at the same time, it becomes a mess. So Jira is something for creating and managing your projects, like tickets. It's a ticketing system, right? You can create different tickets here, or issues as they call them, or tasks. Doesn't matter. The thing is that you have a task per project, and if you open this card, you'll see the whole description, what needs to be done for this particular project, and that's just the way to track it and don't get lost. And lastly, your personal brand, social media. Make sure your Instagram account is public. You don't want to make it private because you want more attention, you want leads. Make sure you have clean photos, no low quality selfies or something like that. Just search for tutorials how to create a professional LinkedIn profile, follow it, and make your profile professionally set. The same for Twitter. Make sure you have clear and professional description, what you do, which kind of services you provide, what is your background, and so on. I am going to touch on this a bit more during our dedicated modules to LinkedIn, for example. But overall, just make sure you have it high quality and clean, and you present yourself as a professional within your space. All right, I think that's it for Branding and Operations Toolkit. Let's discuss lead generation. As always, I'm not going to discuss any theory like frameworks and different approaches. I'm going to refer you to free resources, because everything is already online and people have done a great job on preparing those theoretical explanations about what is inbound lead generation, what is outbound lead generation, which kind of stages there are. So I'm going to refer you to free resources for that. But from us, we are going to share the practical insights based on our experience, the conversion rates, which kind of lead generation worked for us, which kind of lead generation worked for our peers, other AI agency owners. So let's dive in. Outbound versus inbound leads. Like really quickly, let's just go through the difference. So for inbound leads, you have to attract customers with valuable content. It can be done using different channels such as YouTube channel or blog posts or social media. You can publish various short form content like on Instagram, TikTok, shorts, anything you like. The goal is that your content draws attention to your business. And how to do that? You need to deliver value. You need to provide value, and then through that value they will come to you and they will find out about your business. Very obvious. This is what I do with my YouTube channel, and this is what many people do today, because media leverage is one of the most important types of leverages today. All right, outbound leads, it involves interruptive tactics, right? You have to come to the potential leads and point out their problems and trigger their interest and then prove your credibility and then close the deal. Examples of outbound lead generation might be cold calls, cold emails, different direct messages on various platforms on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. I think that's clear. If not, again, I'm going to attach more URLs for very clear explanation of what inbound versus outbound lead generation is. So feel free to check it out. Theory versus practice. So in theory, all the lead generation channels that you hear about, all of them work, right? For someone given a certain conditions, even, I don't know, posting in Facebook groups actually worked. Building that rapport with group members and putting out content in Facebook group. Sometimes you can generate leads even from that, right? So usually when one discusses all the possible lead generation techniques, there are like 25 or 35 methods to generate leads, and you can mention everything there. Writing blog posts, I don't know, doing cold outreach on Twitter, generating leads from TikTok. All of that might work, but within this course, we want to direct you towards the approach that would work with the highest probability of success. All right, what has worked for us and what has worked for many other AI business owners. And let me show you their examples. Last June 2024, we met with other AI agency owners in Dubai, and we had a mastermind. We actually exchanged a lot of insights, and we have weekly calls where we exchange insights, and we actually discuss what works for us. So there were like 12 participants, and for all of them, inbound lead generation works better. None of them actually does any outbound lead generation, any cold emails or cold calls. All of them, like most of them, generate traffic from YouTube. Some of them do, like Akil Wade here. He does short form content. But anyway, all of them publish content, deliver value. They build credibility this way because they showcase their expertise, and that way they generate high quality leads. So that's why I say that theory versus practice. In theory, you can achieve success with many different channels, but in practice, you want to land your first customers as soon as possible, and start executing, start implementing those solutions. That's why let's focus on what can work better. The main difference, in my opinion, is that with outbound lead generation, you are coming to them, to your potential leads, to sell your products or services. And with inbound, they are coming to you to buy. And that's a huge difference, right? With inbound lead generation, due to this fact, you can achieve higher conversion rate from a lead to a sales call, and then much higher close rate, right? I mean, closing those leads into a paying customers. You can check out this video where I actually transparently show my conversion rates with cold emails versus YouTube videos. So just follow this URL and check out this video. There is a lot of transparency here, but I actually decided to take one example from that video and compare the conversion rates between cold emails and YouTube right here. So these stats are for the ideal scenario for cold outreach, for cold emails in this case. Let's assume you understand the niche very well. You know how to craft your scripts, how to trigger that interest. With all those conditions satisfied, according to Instantly, that's a service provider for doing cold emails, cold outreach. So according to them, the best campaigns, like the proper campaigns, like benchmark you should strive for. Your email should get open rate of 50%. Then reply rate would be 5 to 10%. Positive reply would be 1 to 2%. Not all of those 5 to 10% would be positive. Someone can say I am out of office, and someone can say I am not interested, right? So positive replies 1 to 2%. Then out of those 1 to 2% of positive replies, only half of them actually can agree to book a call and jump into a discovery call. So let's say around 1% would book a call, And close rate would be something between 0.55 to 0.75%, which means that if you send 200 highly curated emails to highly curated leads, right, with the best possible text, with your great understanding of the industry, you would land one paying customer. And that's according to the best practices, not curated to AI agency, right? It is not about our space. It is about cold emails in general for various niches. So yeah, as I say, it might be the case if you are a niche insider, but I think that with AI services, the things look a bit different. So in my experience, we sent out 3,000 cold emails as an outsider, right? I researched the niche as an outsider, but I tried to do my best. I got 50% open rate, which means that the deliverability and the subject line, all of that was prepared well. But long story short, 300 cold emails resulted in 0 clients for us, in 0 sales calls. So most of those replies were negative. They were either like, I'm out of office, or we already use an AI solution, we are not interested. And I have 5 years of experience in cold outreach, so that's my background. That's my day job. That is what I used to do for a living. I used to prepare these cold emails. I used to do the outreach campaigns on LinkedIn. So I know that I did that quite well, and still out of 3,000 leads, I received 0 clients. But with YouTube, 7,100 views, which is not too many. I mean, I have videos with 70,000 of views. So it's not too many. You can achieve that. 7,000 views resulted into 16 form submissions. I actually tracked this. And then 16 form submissions resulted into 7 sales calls, and it converted into 1 closed sale, into 1 paying customer. That was a $3,000 project. So having done the cold outreach for a while and then publishing these videos for a while, I've come to a conclusion that according to my 80-20 rule, right, I'd rather put efforts and time into preparing YouTube videos and publishing content rather than spending that time and money on cold outreach. One of the reasons is that we are still early stage in terms of technology adoption cycle, and many businesses are not used to these kind of solutions. They are interested maybe, but they're definitely not ready to actually jump on a call and pay you money to get some kind of AI chatbot. They're not used to this kind of solution. This will change in a few years, that's for sure. So by then, you must be established as an expert with good credibility, with a portfolio of cases, with different testimonials, all of that. You must be an expert by then, because then it will be much easier to convert those leads, and there will be much higher competition because many people will realize that you can make a lot of money, providing AI solutions to businesses around the world. So you must be better than others. That's why it's good that you started now. One more thing I want to mention here is that the main goal of your cold emails is to trigger interest, right? That's why you create all those creative subject lines. You craft different copy for the email body. You split test it. You want to trigger interest. You want to point out their problems which you can solve. So you want to trigger interest, and then the whole funnel afterwards should prove your credibility. And that's why you have this VSL, like video sales letter. You have free value. You offer to do AI audit, all these lead magnets, etc., etc. All of that is designed to prove your credibility and of course trigger their interest even more. But with YouTube, you get it by default. Like the two most important things and the two most difficult things to achieve, you get it by default if you do like YouTube videos or you publish any kind of content and you get the leads organically. You get the interest because they found you and they clicked on your video, so they are already interested, and you get their trust. Other words, you prove your credibility because you demonstrate your expertise in your videos. If you do them like I do with tutorial style, and you showcase your knowledge, you showcase your expertise, That's how you prove your credibility and you build trust. And I really love this comparison because it proves why inbound lead generation performs better than outbound. All right, inbound is our priority because it has higher conversion rate, as simple as that. But I'm not saying do not do outbound lead generation under any circumstances. No. First of all, with outbound, you can start immediately, while with inbound, you need to take some time, right, to build it up. You cannot, expect your first video on YouTube to perform really well and give you a lot of leads and clients. You need to put in some efforts and time and be patient, and then it will pay off. But with outbound, you can craft the emails, purchase a domain, and send out some first cold emails today. So you can start immediately. That's definitely an advantage. The best case for you to start outbound outreach is obviously if you have a domain expertise, you can leverage your network of contacts, right? You can utilize outbound outreach right away because you understand the niche, you have your experience, you know precisely which problem they face, and then you'll achieve higher conversion rate because you're not guessing, you've experienced it yourself. Or if you're a pro in a particular outreach method, you should definitely leverage that as well. You don't need my guidance, but for example, if you are an expert in Google Ads, you've been doing that for many years, for 10 years, you've been launching Google AdWords campaigns, definitely give it a go, test it out, and see if you can achieve any positive ROI. But you can definitely generate some leads immediately instead of waiting for these inbound traffic generators to start working. Our approach, for this course is to do both. Again, following 20-80 rule, I would say 80% of actions dedicated to inbound and 20% to outbound. So yeah, focus on inbound right away. So start building your lead generation inbound traffic source. I suggest that you do YouTube, but we'll discuss this in other modules. But while building it up, you can try experimenting with outbound. And while doing that, while doing those cold email campaigns, you might land your first client. That would be great. But you will definitely learn how to position your offer, right? Because you will be crafting those emails. You will definitely research different niches and you can see which kind of problems you can solve. You can research different problems, solutions. And if you're lucky, you can do some first sales calls, right? And this way you will understand which kind of questions they ask, how to answer them. And then when your inbound traffic source generates leads, generates sales calls, you'll be more than ready because you've already experimented with, discussing these solutions with outbound leads. The main idea I keep in my mind when thinking about cold emails is that volume negates luck. If you send more emails, you'll book more calls. Okay, again, if you send more emails, you'll book more calls. So focus on that. Let's quickly cover my stack, my kind of front end for sending emails. I'm going to have 4 domains, at least in the beginning, 3 email accounts per domain, and 30 emails per day sent from each email account would give me 360 emails per day and 2,520 emails per week. So for domains, I used porkbun.com. You could also use Namecheap or GoDaddy, but Porkbun seems to be the cheapest one. Then for email accounts, again, Outlook or Gmail. I use Outlook because Gmail has the thing that, when you sign up with many accounts, it asks you for phone numbers. And every time you need to come up with a new phone number to receive an SMS message and verify your identity. So that's a struggle. Outlook doesn't have that. That's why I use Outlook. Both of them are the same in terms of deliverability and security. So Outlook would be a better option for me. And then either Smartlead AI or Snow.io for email warm-up and sending. To be honest, I used to work with Snow.io. Now I switched to Smartlead AI because it is just cheaper. You get more credits and you actually get unlimited email warm-up and unlimited email accounts for $39 per month. while they are limited with Snovio for the same price. Then we have deliverability, and that's very important. We want our emails to land in inbox, not in spam folder. So there are a few rules that you need to follow in order to make sure your emails are delivered. First, you need to warm up a new email account for 14 days with software and not send any cold emails during that time. So let me show you my Smart Lead dashboard. I have 9 email accounts here, and I just started warming up period 6 days ago. I still have to wait 8 days before sending my first cold email, so it is in progress. But then after the warm-up, you need to gradually start sending emails while still running the warm-up. Week number 1, 5 to 10 cold emails per account per day. Week number 2, 15 to 20 cold emails per account per day. And week number 3, 25 to 30 cold emails per account, while no more than 20 warm-up emails per day per account at the same time. So we increase the amount of emails to 30 per day per account, and at the same time we keep the warm-up running, but only up to 20 emails per day per account. Okay, then important thing is bounce rate. You have to verify leads before you start sending emails to them, because if an email address is invalid due to different reasons, maybe a person worked for a company and was terminated, and you send an email to that email address, it bounced, right? Then you have a bounce rate, and if it grows higher than 3%, it is very bad for the reputation of your email account, and you will land in spam again. So you must verify leads and track your bounce rate, keep it below 3%. I'm going to use this tool, which is called Million Verifier, for verifying the email addresses, making sure they are valid. And the next step is never use the main website domain for email account send cold emails. So there is a risk that your reputation will be decreased for your email account, and you don't want to mess with the reputation of your main domain of your website. Okay, that's very important. Then we have another rule for the burner domains, or for the secondary emails. Other words, never use .org, .co, something, only .com, and please do not include any numbers or dashes or something like that in the names of your domains. Like here I have, let me just show you. I have different variations of Bosar agencies, so it's bosarsolutions.com, aibosar.com, bosarai.com. So it's always .com and no dashes, no numbers. All right, and the last rule here is to use Spintax to avoid the same exact emails being sent thousands of times. So the email providers, they don't want you to be a spammer, right? And if you send the exact text for hundreds of times per day, it is going to trigger some algorithms from email providers that this might be a spammer and put you in the correlating box. Here are some examples of Spintax. You can say, hey, hi, hello, good day. Then you can say, notice, saw that company, blah, 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 thought, wanted, and so on. So you basically rotate different words with the same meaning to avoid having the same text being sent many times per day. And another great life hack that actually Jimmy Fung mentioned in his video was to include motivational or any other quotes in the end of your email, and that way you can have an infinite amount of variations for your email. It is going to be always unique. So that's great. Then we have list building. For the list building, make sure to use segmentation to make the emails more personalized. And then the question, how to build those lists? Well, there are different directories for different niches. For offline businesses, it is a good idea to use Google Maps. This is what I actually do. You can scrape Google Maps with Outscraper tool. Very convenient. You just put the keyword for the Google Maps, and this tool will scrape all the results and will provide you with a spreadsheet of the emails for each business listing. Then you can use those emails for building your lists. If you want to target like agencies, you can use Klaji.co. If you want to target e-commerce brands, for example, there are Brand Now, there is Store Leads. So there are many different directories, many different services for targeting different industries. One of the biggest directory of leads ever is Apollo.io. So I think LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, and Apollo.io are the two biggest places to find leads. And then we have findemail.com to scrape and verify. So the flow is that you go to Apollo.io, you can set up the criteria for your target persona, you can get tens of thousands of leads, and then you verify those leads with findemail.com and put them in smartlead.ai to actually start your cold outreach process. And some other tools to verify leads might be millionverifier.com or directly in smartleads.ai. Okay, now that we've covered the stack, right, the front end for sending emails, the deliverability rules, and list building, the last thing here would be to cover script writing. And that is of course very important because nobody is going to reply to your emails if they don't sound relevant to people. So you need to understand your ICP, ideal customer profile, use niche, title, employee count, and jargon to tailor your emails to be, more specific, more relevant. The more specific and relevant we are, the higher the conversion rate would be. Create a relevant offer. So offering AI automation is not enough. Create a list of what your offer does for them and write an email around each solution. And again, going back to general approach versus niche approach, we don't want to offer AI solutions to everyone. We want to deeply understand which kind of problems a particular industry face on a daily basis and fine-tune our emails around that problem. Here are some examples. We'll increase customer retention by X% through unique AI automations. Well, not fine-tuned enough, so we add the context of ideal customer profile on top of that and tailor it even more. And I changed the example just now. We work with clothing brands to decrease abandoned carts by 20% in 60 days with our pure commission AI system. So this example is tailored for e-commerce brands. So let's assume we target e-commerce brands as an AI agency, and we take into consideration that particular niche while saying that we work with clothing brands to decrease abandoned carts by 20%. So the more context you provide, the more relevant the email would be and the higher the conversion rate would be. Okay, cold email script frameworks. Every line in your email must have a purpose. We want zero fluff. So there are different frameworks, for example, intro, offer, case study, call to action, intro, pain point, solution, call to action. So let's cover these 5 main pieces that can be used for every cold emails. Those are intro, offer, pain point, case study, and call to action. Intro is basically just to introduce ourselves, to show who we are, and also show personalization to demonstrate that we've done our research. Then we have offer. In this part, we show what we do. This is basically a promise of the end result, or we work for free. And that works very well. Then we have pain point. What are the challenges? So I suggest that you write a list of pain points and then include them in your email sequences. And the goal is to point at what they are losing, not what they can gain. An example here is notice a few mistakes in your welcome flow that could be costing X% conversions every month. So I made you a video covering how to fix these mistakes. Can I send it to you? These examples have nothing to do with AI automation agencies, but it will give you a great idea how to construct those emails. Okay, then we have case study, who and how we helped before. The best way to showcase the pain points that we solved. Again, example. Hey, we recently helped this TikTok agency that was struggling to find leads just like you go from 0 to 20 sales calls per month in 45 days. You're telling the prospect that you've helped someone who was in the exact same shoes achieve the exact same result they're looking for. And that's huge because you show relevance. The business is very similar to the one in your case study, and you have social proof because that's the result you actually achieve. Then we have CTA, call to action. There are 3 types: hard CTA, soft CTA, and value CTA. Value CTA is probably the best performing. It means that I've noticed a problem in your business and here's a video that might help you solve it. Do you mind if I send it to you? It's value CTA because you're going to provide some value without having them to invest time in scheduling calls and so on. So I suggest that you use value CTA before hard CTA because hard CTA usually requires people to invest their time and the conversion rate is not so high. I've spent hundreds of hours analyzing and researching the best practices for creating content for YouTube, growing a YouTube channel, etc. And I've tested a lot of it. I've grown my own channel to 10,000 subscribers, which is not a lot, but for this space, it is more than enough to get going. And I tried to synthesize all those learnings and provide you with a complete playbook. This document that I'm going to share with you contains all the knowledge you need to get started on YouTube. You have a step-by-step guide. You don't need to spend time researching. I've done this work for you. All right, first of all, let me refer you to these free resources. The first one is How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. This is quite a comprehensive file. It was leaked to the internet by someone from his team, and it contains a lot of information on how to approach the YouTube production if you join their team, if you join MrBeast's team. The second one is a playlist by Ali Abdal. You've probably heard of this guy. He's huge on YouTube. He has like over 5 million subscribers, and he has very structured videos on how to start a YouTube channel. I've watched all of them, so I try to synthesize all those learnings and provide you with the most important bits of information. Yeah, so let's get started. The first chapter would be mindset, and there are a ton of excuses. I don't have the right equipment. I'm not confident on camera. Well, nobody is confident on camera. I hate talking to camera. And when I went to that mastermind with other YouTube creators, content creators, I expected that those guys, they would be comfortable. There was Liam Otto with 250,000 subscribers. There was Dave Abelard with 100K subscribers. So I expected them to be at least more confident than me while talking to a camera, but they weren't. All of them, like all of us, are very, very uncomfortable talking to a camera. So this is not something you should like. This is very, it is not natural to talk to a lens. So you just need to push through, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. All right, I'm not going to dive into all of these excuses. Let's just skip that. All right, all of them are like childish. This is a part of your business, so no excuses. Content equals revenue. This is not something you should like to do, or you should treat as a casual thing. You might film a video if you feel like it. No, this is your business. Content equals revenue. So no excuses. Let's get started. You might have heard this statement. You need to find what you're passionate about and then make content about it. You'll be more authentic and won't burn out. And that's true. And this is something that people need to hear in order to start, and very often people cannot find something they're passionate about and they just stall. They don't kick off because they haven't found what they need to talk about. We are lucky, right? Let's agree that all AI Fellowship members are passionate about AI and automation solutions and making money through leveraging this opportunity. So we all have this already. It's done. But doing something you are passionate about doesn't mean you'll enjoy 100% of all the work involved. I love building my AI business, but I hate talking to a camera. So it's just a part of it. I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it to push my business forward. And it applies to all the guys I know who do the same, all right? Any business you want to start, you'll have a certain percentage of work you need to deal with, even if you don't like it. So just accept it. Let me just quickly share my journey. So around 5 years ago, I read the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, and he said that media leverage is a must if you want to get wealthy. So I realized that I needed to create content and get attention, and then I would be able to leverage it, right? This is a fact. Now I need to understand what kind of content I can create and which kind of platform I should use, etc. So I decided to go for YouTube, and I needed to select a niche. In order to select a niche, I started asking questions. What is my background? What kind of value can I provide? What is my unique advantage? Back then, I worked in the affiliate marketing industry, so my unique advantage was having a lot of insights from the industry And organically, I started creating content on affiliate marketing. So that was my first attempt. Let me show you this channel just for you to understand the quality of those videos. So this is in Russian, you won't
Существует
understand
тысячи
it.
способов, но все они сводятся к одной формуле. Продукт плюс люди, которые могут хотеть этот продукт, умножить на способность о нем рассказать. И это все равно.
So I filmed it with an iPhone. The audio quality was not so good, but even with that kind of setup, I managed to get like 25k views. It was over 4 years ago. Then I quickly realized that I really didn't see myself in affiliate marketing. I didn't know how to utilize, how to leverage that attention in that particular industry. And at that time, I started a startup with my co-founders. So I had to prioritize. I had to make this trade-off because I wanted to build a startup. So I paused my YouTube journey here. Then another attempt was here. It was really short period of time, but I tried to be a fitness kind of YouTuber. So I filmed this.
Another video. What's up, guys? So this is another video from that series of videos with
So as you see, the quality was not the best again. This is quite embarrassing, but still, you know, you need to test it. You need to understand what works for you and what doesn't. I didn't know which niche I could create content in, so I just learned through execution, as I like to repeat. And then attempt number 3, over a year ago. This time I decided that I'll be doing this consistently for a year, okay? So this hypothesis is not going to be tested in a few months. I understood that, and I realized that I need to do this for a year, no matter the results. Even with 100 subscribers, I'll be doing this for a whole year. Then evaluate the performance, evaluate the results, and give it one more year. So that was my commitment, that was my decision. And only then, after 2 years, I can consider my hypothesis tested. And I started this YouTube channel that you know, Bosar. And again, I didn't know my niche, so I tested a lot of different videos, but it's been over a year, not even 2 years. I have 10,000 subscribers almost. By the time you watch it, I'll definitely have 10K. And now I clearly see the path forward. I understand how to utilize this in my business. So that's what you need to do. You need to commit, and without any expectations, just continue pushing for a certain period of time, and then you evaluate and make a decision. Just to share some insights with you, because you remember there are no secrets within this course, what having 10K subs in this space means. First of all, $2,000 to $3,000 brand deals per video. You know, if you compare this to short form content, and I know because I'm in touch with those guys who do short form, you can charge these amounts only having like hundreds of thousands of followers. With long form, with YouTube videos, you can charge this starting at, you know, 5 to 10,000 subscribers. And that's my experience. Like my first brand deal was back in August when I had 7,500 subscribers. And how I approach this, I don't want to mess my content. I don't want to sell any, you know, best AI tools and all of that. I want to provide high quality tutorials to my audience to demonstrate that I'm an expert, to show my knowledge, to show my expertise, and to provide real value. So I prepare my video first using the tools I need to use. And only then, after the video is ready, I screen my emails, because I get emails from potential advertisers every day. And then I screen the emails, and sometimes the tools that I already feature in my videos, they already tried to get in touch with me a while ago, and I get back to them and just say, okay, I can feature your product in my video, which is already ready. They don't know about that. And then I just charge them for the brand deal. The first brand deal I did was $2,500, and again, it was when I had only 7,500 subscribers. This is niche specific, all right? If you did some kind of entertainment content, it wouldn't be so easy to charge these amounts for brand deals, but for this space, it is very realistic. And by the way, my whole investment into my setup, into my studio, paid off like with one brand deal. So this is really nice additional revenue stream. But of course, we are not YouTubers here, right? We are building a business. And the main leverage, the main advantage of YouTube is having constant lead flow to your AI agency or to any business you run. At this level, having 10,000 subscribers, you can easily get enough leads to close enough sales calls and generate revenue somewhere between 5 to 15K if you close your sales calls right. And once you're ready, of course, you can create educational products like this one if you have enough demand. Like I've been asked to create this course, or many people DM me and ask to provide some kind of coding crash course and overall playbook on how to launch an AI agency. So demand creates proposal, right? So that's how I decided to create this course. And there is no marginal fee of replication. That's the leverage we are talking about. You can create an educational product once and then sell it 100 times. And you don't need to create anything else again and again. You just need to maintain the operations. In my case, I need to maintain the community, but still there is no high, let's say, there is no high marginal fee of replication. Plus little things like affiliate links. So, whenever you feature a tool in your video, you can add an affiliate link. And then once your viewers click on that link and they purchase that product, you'll get some commission fee. Usually it's like 15 to 25%. So I consistently get $400 per month from affiliate links. And there is also Google AdSense. This is what YouTube pays you for showing the ads to viewers. And in my case, having 10K subscribers, I get around $300 per month, which is almost nothing, but still little things, they add up. And overall, all these points already cover the basic needs. And once you have your basic needs covered, you don't have to go for a day job. You can focus completely on your business and build great things. So this is what I do. And I hope that these kind of insights, like complete transparency, inspires you as well, and you can give it a chance too. And the last point here is that it is a lifestyle choice. As I said, it is a full-time job. It's not a casual thing to do, for fun, because you like it or you feel like it. You just have to accept it, okay? You must commit and dedicate 2 years of your life to test this hypothesis without any results. But then the compound effect will change your life because you'll be able to achieve that freedom without having a day job and be focused on your business. Enough inspiration. Let's consider the mindset chapter done. Now let's talk strategy. The first step is to get going. Okay, do not wait for the perfect moment. The time is now. And you are lucky, you don't have to overthink it. I give you a complete to-do list and my personal standard operating procedure, and you can just get going right away. You don't have to think about your niche. It is already known. It is AI and automation for businesses, and you can use my to-do list. I'm going to share this to-do list where you just put in the days for specific tasks and just start executing, okay? So yeah, use my to-do list first, and then you can optimize your workflow as you go. Niche selection. As in business, and we discussed this in the first module, you need to understand your target market very well and what unfair advantage you have. But unfair advantage is tough. It is tough, and it is an excuse for many people to procrastinate. I don't have it. I don't have any unfair advantages. How can I deliver true value? Well, it is okay to learn and share, and you'll obtain your unique and unfair advantage as you go. So learn through execution, become an expert through execution, all right? My unfair advantage at the moment is the fact that I'm running an AI agency and I have insights from my network of other AI agency owners, but I first started making tutorials, and then as a result, I obtained my unfair advantage, not the other way around, okay? It is important to find the balance between being too niched and too general. When you're too general, it is harder to provide real value, right? Because it is too general. And you also compete with many people, with many content creators who are also general, right? So your chances to succeed are a bit lower. But when you're too niched, your total addressable market might be too small to get any good amounts of views or subscribers. And very often my favorite channels, like the best channels I know on YouTube, they have a few thousand subscribers or even a few hundreds. Those guys, they are very in-depth and they provide real value, but it is so niched that they cannot gather enough attention from general audience. So we have to kind of balance between being too niched and too general to get a lot of views, but at the same time provide real value for a specific niche that you are in. So in my opinion, the best approach is to replicate videos that worked for others, okay? Evaluating the performance and feedback from your viewers. And then with time, you can add more creativity, more personality, your own personality, and find your own specific and unique lane, your own angle. Okay, what I did. And I just want to share this because I think it is illustrating how complicated and how time-consuming the niche selection process might be. I tried to analyze new channels, you know, the ones that were created recently, and they kind of exploded with the first few videos. I tried to understand why they went viral and kind of replicate the same topics, the same videos with my own modifications. I tried to make them better. So first of all, let me just quickly show you which videos I tried to replicate first. First, there was this guy, Joshua Mayo. He gathered several hundreds of thousands of subscribers very quickly. His most, if you sort by popular, you'll see the most popular videos. So his most popular video was 4 side hustles that no one is talking about, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I decided to test this hypothesis. I created a similar video, 5 side hustles for 2024, untold truth, real life examples. And I covered the best side hustles in my opinion. I did an extensive research, so it was prepared well enough. But in my case, I got only 700 views, while in his case, it got almost 5 million views. Okay, then I tried something else. I found this channel called Nisha. So she exploded from 20,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers with this one video titled How I'll Become a Millionaire by 32. It gathered 1.6 million views. And again, I tried to do the same video, but better, right? In my case, it was my plan to become a millionaire, proven strategy. And I did the best I could, conducted an extensive research, scripting every word. But again, I managed to get only 400 views instead of 1.6 million. And this way I tested different niches because I didn't know exactly what I could create content about. Then I found this channel. The guy just created the channel, published one video about 10 mind-blowing AI tools for 2023. And with one video, he got 400,000 views and 10k subscribers. I tried to replicate it as well, and this was actually the first video on my channel that performed relatively well. I got like 16,000 views, while usually it was only a few hundred views per video. So the logical thing to do was to keep pushing in that direction and continue creating videos about AI tools. But back then, I just wasn't sure I wanted to be a guy reviewing AI tools. I was more interested in startups, you know, how to launch a startup. I had some experience launching startups. So instead of double down on creating videos about AI tools, I decided to test that startup niche a bit more before making conclusions. So I created the whole playlist on how to launch a startup. If you're curious, by the way, you can check it out. Those startup videos never actually performed well. They didn't get any traction. So I tried to replicate one more niche like this. He turned $500 into $10 million. And as many times before that, I did my very best, but got only 390 views, while that guy got 700k views, and that was one of the first videos on his channel. If you sort by oldest, you'll see it was video number 4 on his channel. So yeah, and then one more try, I found this channel, Liam Otley, and I replicated his video, how to add custom GPTs to any websites in minutes. It had 400k views, quite a lot. So I did a similar video, how to integrate a custom GPT into your website, step-by-step guide. and this video performed very well. Currently there are 75k views. It was published 10 months ago and it is getting views daily. So it is what they call evergreen type of content, that gathers more and more views over time. This video is still the most popular, the best performing on my channel. So after this one, I decided to get deeper into this niche, and now I am 100% into it. Yeah, so you can do the same. You can use the content that performs well for others. Just give credit to the original creator, as I did here. I actually said that the code was prepared by Liam Otley. And then I added one more chapter from myself. There was method number 1, which I prepared, and method number 2 that was taken from Liam's video. And this way you can test your hypothesis until you find your own angle. So yeah, you can do exactly the same. Now I know that Liam's audience and mine are very similar, so I can use what worked for him and try to make it better, adding additional value and my own experience to it, because now I have some experience. I am implementing these solutions in real life. But you are lucky. It took me around 7 months to do all these tests and figure out my niche. You are already here. You already know what your niche is, and you can analyze the best performing channels. You can try to spot what performs well and then create your videos based on that, all right? For example, why do I think that in-depth videos perform well in this space? Okay, let's go to Liam Otley channel, right here, then search by popular, and I just noticed that his best performing videos were like full course, several hours of value on chatbots, on prompt engineering, on OpenAI GPTs, and you see this kind of video, he could prepare much more in-depth and more niched video, but he understands that in order to be interesting for a broad audience, he must keep that balance between being too general and too niched. So OpenAI GPTs is not really an in-depth topic, but this video performed the best on his channel. So I analyzed these long videos, and then I built my hypothesis based on this analysis, and I created my in-depth video. This video, how to build AI chatbots, full guide from beginner to pro, 29,000 views, and it gains like 700 views every day till now. It was published 2 months ago, and every day it is growing, like more and more views every day, because these kind of videos perform well in this niche. Okay, and my last advice when it comes to strategy is to start with answering questions and solving specific problems. Create those tutorial style videos, provide people with pure value, and later on, when you have more exposure, you can do more videos on self-reflection, on habits, productivity, lifestyle, etc. Liam, because now he has 250k subscribers, he started doing this life and business videos, changing the world with AI, like his story, personal branding changed my life. So more self-reflecting videos, because people already know him. But if you check out his oldest videos, it was all about pure value, best AI-powered business modules, how to fine-tune GPT-3, 7 AI tools, prompt engineering. So no personality, mostly pure value, answering questions, solving problem, and then you add your personality on top of it once people kind of recognize you. Okay, let's discuss the setup. This is the equipment for setting up a studio that I personally use. You can check all these links, the camera, the lens, the lights. So all of that will be available in this file. The total cost for this setup is around $2,000. But if you want to save some money, you can do the same what I did. Most of the equipment I bought on marketplaces with pre-used items, depending on your country, it can be OLX, eBay, or Facebook Marketplace. Also, I promise, I've done my extensive research. I've watched like thousands of YouTube tutorials, and this is the most budget-friendly option, the most budget-friendly setup to achieve this kind of quality, this level of quality. So you can just trust me and go for this list of items, or you can experiment if you want to save some money and you can try filming your first videos with lower quality equipment. But again, my biggest mistake gear-wise was saving on audio quality. I tried to use cheaper mics in the beginning instead of buying this one right away, and I spent like, I don't know, countless hours trying to fix my audio quality in post-production, you know, when you play with equalizer and just try to make it better. I could have paid like extra $200 and I would avoid wasting a ton of time and energy. You know, it's so stressful trying to fix your audio in post-production. So just a tip from my experience, this is your business, do it right. If I have this money, I'd invest it. And then again, it pays off with your first brand deal or with your first client to your agency. Also included some tutorials here, how to set up your camera. So you'll have all the settings, how to set up your audio. And also I use OBS for recording my screen and audio. And I follow this tutorial.
Hey guys, my name is Tom, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your Shure SM7.
You have everything you need. Just follow these tutorials, follow these links. You can get the whole studio set up ready to use. And also my advice is to dedicate a full day to set everything up. Of course, you can follow these tutorials, but still you need to apply that in real life, in practice. So test different angles for your lighting. So I have my key light here, my hair light there. Experiment with different camera settings. You just need to set it up once. So do it properly, do it right, and then you can use the same setup for many months. Next up, we have a short list of tools that I use. So first of all, OBS Studio. I use it to record, as I said, my screen and my audio. Then I use Mega as a cloud storage for sharing materials with my editor because I don't edit my videos myself. But before I delegated the editing and thumbnail creation to other people, I used DaVinci Resolve. It is a free tool for video editing. There is a ton of tutorials on YouTube on how to use it. You have to pay for Final Cut for Mac, or you have to pay for Adobe, but with DaVinci Resolve, you can edit your videos for free. So if it's important to you, this is what I used. And then Photoshop for thumbnail design. Photoshop is quite complex. So if you have no experience, the learning curve might be quite complex. I tried using Canva instead, but the quality was not good enough. Let me quickly show you my thumbnails, which I designed in Canva. So if you go to my channel and sort by oldest, so these, like, yeah, all these thumbnails I designed in Canva. They look like this, and then let's sort by latest. This is the design of my thumbnails done in Photoshop. I think it's much better, so if possible, do it right from the beginning. Also, my advice here is to delegate as soon as you can and focus on your content instead. By delegation, I mean video editing and thumbnail creation. For the first 7 months of my YouTube journey, I edited my videos myself, and I spent 3 days every week for editing. Instead, I could use that time for brainstorming my videos, learning how to build those solutions, or running my agency. So that was the best decision ever with regards to my YouTube workflow. Then a few more tools for research. I use vidIQ and Social Blade when you have to analyze some keywords. I use vidIQ when you have to analyze some channels and maybe understand at which point they exploded. You can track this with Social Blade. It's quite straightforward, so I'm not going to provide you with step-by-step tutorials here, but you can use them. How to create a channel. Also, if you're a complete beginner, this is a really basic instruction.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a brand new two handles can be the same.
Customize your channel. Obviously,
may want
you
to
need
go
to
to
make
the advanced tab and check out.
Professional. You have to prepare this thumbnail. You have to have your links here to enable your viewers, to visit your website right away. This is my website, my school community, my AAF Academy. So all of that should be available. A clear and concise description. So helping businesses use AI to step up their game. And my site is visible here. Use this space. This is the real estate that you can use. Don't include any meaningless information here. Include your website and make it an additional CTA, click to action button, right? So this is quite straightforward. Now we are going to discuss the most important things you need to understand about YouTube. And then I'm going to share with you my standard operating procedures so you could start using it right away. So the 3 most important things about YouTube. Let's start with the first principles. YouTube as a company, YouTube wants to keep users on their platform for as long as possible. That's their goal, and all of the algorithms are geared to achieve that result. So watch time is the king, all right? Watch time is the most important metric. All of the other metrics are secondary. But to watch your videos, the users must click on it first. So thumbnail and title is equally important as the content of your video, because they will never know that your video is so valuable, that it provides real value, if they don't click on it. That's why the 3 most important things here are click, then watch, and then engage. So you need to keep your users, your viewers satisfied, and then your channel will perform well. So let's break down each of them separately. First of all, for click, we have thumbnail and title, and the metric that you should use to evaluate the quality of your thumbnail and title is CTR, click-through rate. Okay, a few rules, like rule of thumb for creating thumbnails. It must be up to 3 elements. Instant focus, all right? Don't include a lot of elements on your thumbnail. Let's search for Mr. Beast. So usually you have 3 objects, like background, the background, his face, and one more object, the yacht in this case, or again the background, his face, and the dog. So up to 3 objects, you need to catch the focus right away. The next rule is to avoid lots of text. Again, if you check Mr. Beast's channel, there is no text at all on his thumbnails, right? Maybe for our industry you might include some titles, but still you have to keep it like very concise, very short, very readable, right? So I have like 2 words: AI chatbot full course, and then again maybe AI email assistant. So if you include a lot of text, it is not readable. You lose the focus, so don't do that. The next one is to use high quality pictures. This is non-negotiable, kind of obvious to me. Nobody uses like a screenshot from their videos. It must be a separate photo session and then professionally edited, and that's how you approach thumbnail creation. Another tip is to use 18% zoom, to check out if it's readable and catchy. So when you create your thumbnail in Photoshop, usually it is on your full screen, but when you have recommendations, it is very small like this. So if you zoom out to 18%, you'll see your thumbnail in this size, and you'll understand if your title on the thumbnail is readable or not. Just a little tip for you. And then do competitive analysis. Again, analyze what works in your niche, what performs well for other channels that are successful, and apply those learnings to your thumbnail creation. Title. Research similar videos and title ideas, obviously. So if you search for a particular title and the maximum amount of views in the first search results is up to a few hundreds of views, you cannot expect a few hundreds of thousands of views, right? So do your research, use YouTube search and see the maximum views potential. That's what I just discussed. Use vidIQ to evaluate your keywords and your title, so they have a specific feature. It's very straightforward. Just go to that tool and you'll see. And use ChatGPT to fine tune. So sometimes you need to brainstorm with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is quite good at this. Don't follow it blindly, because it usually creates kind of formal titles, but again, use it for brainstorming, for additional words and synonyms to help you out. All right, the second part is watch, and to achieve the best watch time, you need to provide your viewers with content full of value, right? So watch time is the king. Give away everything you have. Sometimes you might think that I'm not going to show the details or some specifics of a particular solution because I spend so much time and so much energy on this. No, give everything you have. It will pay off, and people will feel it. They will understand how much value you actually provided them with. So give everything you have. So do your absolute best, especially in this niche, quality over quantity. Yes, you must be consistent. Try to publish at least one video every week, but quality is the highest priority. In my case, if I need more time to create a better video, I'd rather publish it in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in a month even, but I'll make it worthy of many hundreds of thousands of views instead of just sticking to my schedule and publishing a video every week, knowing that I could have made it better. Okay? You want to trigger the viral effect. How? How can we achieve that? The video content must be consistent with your title and thumbnail. So if you manage to gauge that attention, if you manage to interest your viewer and they click on your video, do not disappoint them. Your video content must be consistent with what you described in your title. Don't only use these hooks and then provide zero value. Kind of obvious, but still make sure it is consistent. Once you've identified your niche, make your videos consistent with other videos on the channel. So the best outcome is if your new viewer watches your video and then they go to your channel and kind of binge watch all the videos on your channel because they are consistent and correlating and all of them are within one niche. So that's the best outcome you might expect. One video goes viral and then YouTube's algorithms push other videos from your channel. Try to keep that in mind while posting your first 10 videos because that will help you stay motivated. So how it works, you can publish 10 videos and all of them can get like thousands or hundreds of views, so not many. But then your video number 11 suddenly explodes and goes viral. And at this moment, YouTube's algorithms, they will check out your channel. They will notice, wow, there are 10 more videos. Let's try pushing them as well. And they will push all your videos. So try to do your best on every video you publish, because once you go viral with one of them, you'll be able to leverage all those videos in your backlog, in your channel, okay? And do your best. Do not sound boring. I understand it is hard to achieve. How can you not sound boring? My answer is to script your videos, especially in the beginning, before you become more comfortable in front of a camera. I would be unbelievably boring if I didn't script my videos. I script them still. Most of them are completely scripted. Some of them are scripted in the beginning, and then when it comes to tutorial, I'll do it freestyle, but I just started doing it like a month ago. This is the leverage of YouTube. You can put in a lot of time in advance and have all of your thoughts structured, and then just focus on the energy you give away. Because if I focus on the things I'm talking about, I would be unbelievably boring, talking like this, actually thinking about the tutorial, not about how I look, how I sound. But when I have all my knowledge prepared by myself, it's not like I am dishonest or not authentic. I've prepared all my thoughts, I structured them, I dedicated time, I tried to avoid, wasting your time with unnecessary things. And then I just follow my script and I focus on giving away my energy, be energetic, and that way I make my videos hopefully more engaging. And what I mean by scripting the videos, just to show you an example. So there is this video, how to build AI chatbots, full guide from beginner to pro. It is 1 hour, 28 minutes long. And let me show you the script for this video. So it is 40 pages long, 40 pages long, and it is scripted word by word. Hi, welcome back. My name is Bogdan. In this video, I'll provide you with the most comprehensive blah, blah, blah. I have my comments in red for my editor, so she can follow the script as well and edit it properly according to my vision, because I included all the comments here. And when I have tutorials, let me show you tutorial number 2. When I pretend to actually do something on my screen, I just read my text and I have it scripted word by word. Maybe here. So I'm gonna copy the dev URL from here and go to my demo page. We quickly created this page for the purposes of this video, just to demonstrate how the chatbot works. I go to settings, enter the URL from Replit, blah, 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 blah. So sometimes to make it really smooth, like creating a movie, you have to stage it and then do this. It is very, very time consuming. It is very hard, but this is something I can do. I am not so fluent as maybe some other guys. I have my accent, I struggle with English. I'm not so fluent with my solutions because usually I have my developers help me prepare them. So I use what I can. What I can use is putting in more hours, more efforts, and make it smooth. So that's how efforts might look like on creating videos full of value. And then the last thing here is to leave your viewers satisfied. So did that content help them out or not? If yes, they're satisfied and they will binge watch your other videos. So the most effective CTA, call to action, in your video is not leave a comment or hit the like button or subscribe. The most effective CTA is to refer your viewers to other videos on your channel, because that will boost the total watch time of your channel, of your videos. That will keep viewers on the platform. And remember, that is what YouTube as a company wants. So yeah, be consistent with your content, and this will happen organically. Okay, now let's discuss the standard operating procedure for my YouTube workflow. All right, so I did break down my workflow into different stages here, and this is a very good approach because later on, when you start delegating, you can just clearly delegate the whole branch, and you'll know exactly which kind of tasks that person is responsible for. So far, I've delegated only editing, but my end goal is to delegate all of them and only keep filming for myself. So I'll dedicate 1 or 2 hours per week sitting in front of a camera, but the whole research part, the writing, the editing, publishing, repurposing, analytics, all of that will be done by my team members, A players. So which kind of stages we have? The first one is idea generation, then the research phase, then writing, then filming, then editing, then publishing, then repurposing, then analytics. And let's go through all of them one by one. So the first one is to prepare a list of video ideas per quarter. I like to approach it per quarter, so I think about the video titles, the video ideas that I want to deliver in the next 3 months. I put them in my schedule, and then I can change them, I can play with them, but at least I have the overall structure of what my content is going to look like in the next 3 months. You can practice building solutions you've learned during AIF program, during AI fellowship program, and make your own tutorials. I think that's a good strategy because the overall approach is to learn and share your learnings, and while you're sharing, you prove your credibility and you prove your expertise. So now you've learned a ton of information from Nick, from our course, and now you can implement those solutions. Even if you don't have any clients yet, you can just try implementing them for yourself, for the practice, and while doing that, you construct good tutorials based on that. So you should have a ton of ideas, because within this course, we provide you with the most popular solutions that we sell as an agency, with the most popular solutions that businesses demand. So you have those ideas, try building tutorials and share them with the audience. Then we have title and thumbnail mockup. Again, these are the most important things. To watch the video, people must click on it first, as we discussed. It has been proven these 2 things must be done before preparing the video. Maybe not a ready-to-use title and thumbnail, but at least the mockup, the one that you can, navigate your whole video, your content about, because you'll know how you want to attract the attention, right? So for title, research similar videos, we already discussed that. Use vidIQ, use ChatGPT. For thumbnail, must be up to 3 elements again, 18% zoom out to check if it's readable and catchy. Just research the competitors, check out the references, the other videos in this niche. I usually use YouTube research for, searching for similar videos. like 90% of my research is on YouTube, but then maybe I can also Google it and use all the other sources. Next up, we have the research phase. And by research, I mean preparing the tutorial, preparing the video, not the research of the keywords and topics and what is SEO optimized and so on, but the solution itself, how to make it, how to prepare it. For that, of course, you need to learn, you need to complete AIF, for example. But then for a specific tutorial, you can also analyze your competitors, look for references. YouTube research for similar videos is what I do for 90% of cases. There are so many YouTubers publishing pure value. Some of their videos get like a few hundreds of views, but you can use them and learn how to build a particular tutorial and then modify it to your niche, change the title, and try testing the tutorial on your channel. And then also Google it, use all the other sources besides YouTube. You can use Google, just search for any advice, school communities, etc. And then we have writing, and this is important. You remember this second most important thing, content full of value. So the most responsible phase for the content full of value is your script, is the structure, the content of your video. And my structure, which again, I've done an extensive research and I've come up with this particular structure. I recommend that you use it as well. The first thing is, the most important part is the first 30 seconds of your video. It must be a hook. Yeah, you must hook your viewers to stay with you and to deliver that watch time that you are looking for. So usually I start in this video and then I show some sneak peek, like right away what we are going to build today. So result we are going to achieve. And this part with screen sharing spoilers. I mean, like you have a demo, right? In the end, like the result of your solution, and just pick some spoilers from that demo and show this in the very beginning. Actually, let's just select one of my videos, maybe the last one, and I'll demonstrate the structure according to my workflow. So the first one is use cases, right? I begin with in this video. Let's quickly check it out. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm gonna show you a quick tutorial on how to build an AI voice agent for cold calling. So I quickly explained what this video is going to be about. It took me 9 seconds. So this is a hook. Then the next step is short intro, under 2 minutes. Here we can provide some context, why we are doing this, which use cases, etc. So this is what I do, and I even named this chapter use cases, and I explain the use cases and the utility for 3 minutes. So once that's explained, the next part is demo. Let's check my structure here. Yeah, the next part is demo, demonstrate the final result. Now I go to demo and I show this cold calling solution.
Is this Bogdan?
Hello, yes, this is Bogdan. So live demo, no cuts. After that, the next step is to explain which steps we need to take in order to build this solution. So break down the video, steps we are going to take, this part with motion design visuals. Well, ideally, if you have access to motion design, it is quite complicated. So instead, my chapter is how it works. And here I just use Miro to kind of visualize the whole solution and how it works, and the steps we are going to take, extracted by make.com. Okay, so again, once our lead data variables are passed via... So again, quickly explained what we're going to do in this video, then quick demo, then more technical steps, and after that, the tutorial itself, the content itself. It should be structured, it should be engaging. So sometimes you need, on purpose, you need to say, I'm going to show you this later in this video to make your viewers wait until that moment. And of course, you remember the most important CTA is references to other videos, because you want to keep them watching your videos on your channel, because you need to boost your total watch time. So that's the structure. Then filming. The next step is editing. Again, now it is being done by my video editor. I used to follow this workflow, so if you want, you can check it out. And then publishing. Publishing is important because if you're just starting out, YouTube algorithms, they don't have any data. They don't have any feedback from viewers. At least they are not statistically significant. So they track the meta signals. And by meta signals, YouTube, like their employees, I watched the interviews, they mean all these titles, descriptions, tags, all of that. So make sure you do it properly. Use ChatGPT for brainstorming. Choose SEO, search engine optimized tags. Description must be clear, concise, SEO optimized. In the beginning, I used LinkedIn campaigns to actually message my video to people on LinkedIn and asking to check them out and provide me with some feedback. In the beginning, every view counts, and you should attract as much attention as possible from the outside to your videos. Make sure to break the video down into chapters. It is very useful for the viewers. And make sure to include end screens and cards. Let me maybe show you a quick example. So once you upload your video, all of the details must be filled out. The title, the description, thumbnail, playlist. Then you want to paste all the SEO optimized tags here. And then when you go to video elements, you need to include the end screen, right? Something people see in the end of your video. Then you want to include some cards, so you can add a video to recommend during your video. So all of that must be there. Do not neglect that. Yeah, and as I already said, I use LinkedIn campaigns to boost my videos. Repurposing, this is something I don't do, but I'd like to. So once I have more time and I can prioritize that, I am definitely going to create more short form content and just create some posts on LinkedIn to get more attention, more exposure. And analytics, evaluate your videos 1 month after publishing, compare the performance and make conclusions moving forward. Watch time is the king. Again, track that metric first and then the rest, but also CTR, click-through rate, engagements in terms of real life, comments, questions, etc., etc. Sometimes I compare my videos to other videos from other channels which have much more views, but my videos have more comments, and this way I understand that people are more engaged and YouTube algorithms are intelligent. They are smart enough to recognize that. Don't worry, they track everything, they understand everything. So if your video is valuable, they will understand that and they will push it. That's the beauty of YouTube algorithms, and that's the beauty of the platform itself. All right, so that's the standard operating procedure. You're going to get it in this file. Let's go back to our notes. And the last things here are examples. So just 2 examples to quickly demonstrate how people started with nothing. So there is Ben, for example. He started only 6 months ago, and today he has almost 7,000 subscribers. He provides like in-depth, long videos, like if you sort by popular, 46 minutes, 1 hour, 24 minutes, 35 minutes, 25. So these videos are quite in depth. He really knows how to build these solutions. So I think he's going to perform really well. Mark Kashev, again, the same, very in-depth videos. The guy is very smart. I know him personally, and he had like 2,000 subscribers 3 months ago. So 7,000 subscribers gain in 3 months, really great. And you know what people achieve with 9,000 subscribers in this niche on YouTube, because I already shared that. So analyze these new channels, see how they deliver value, and try your best to do better. Try your best to do better. All right. And our to-do list, I'm going to fine-tune this file, but I want to try to help staying disciplined, So I did break down the tasks you need to complete in order to start, to get going. All the comments are included here. You can use our standard operating procedure. You can just select the days you want to dedicate to each task, and that's it. You have your schedule, you have your deadlines. Just stick to it. You have our standard operating procedure. Now you can be consistent. It's time to get going. All right. Thank you very much for watching this comprehensive lesson on YouTube. I tried my best to give you everything I know and synthesize all my learnings. In this video, we're gonna go through our sales process at Bosar agency. There are 5 main stages, so I'm gonna go through each of them one by one, and I'll tell you how we do it in real life with our real clients, all right? So the first one is qualification, the second one is discovery call, next one is exploration phase, then we have closing a deal and implementation. Okay, so now let's just go through each one of them and discuss a bit more how we actually do this in real life. Qualification stage, the objective here is to confirm that the client has the necessary resources, commitment, and suitability for AI solutions. Usually, if you are a beginner and you don't have a huge amount of leads, a huge influx of incoming leads, you can't be too selective. So if they have a website, I'd go for a call and discuss a solution. Actually, I'd go for a call with anyone who is interested at the beginning. But later on, once you have more and more leads, you need to allocate your time wisely. So you need to qualify the leads and not waste your time on the unqualified ones. So how do we qualify? First of all, research, review the client's website, LinkedIn profile, and other online resources that you have access to, just to confirm their legitimacy, that this is an operational business and they actually can be serious about this solution. The next step might be to assess financial readiness. Again, how do we do that? I usually go to their LinkedIn page and check for the amount of employees of that company. So if they have over 10 employees, that means they might have relevant budgets to invest in this solution and actually optimize their business process. Then we have evaluate suitability for AI, analyze the business model and industry to ensure AI can add value to their processes. So we know that if that business is service-based business with a lot of generic tasks, so you have to provide customer support, you have to set appointments, we know that these kind of businesses, they can benefit a lot from AI at this stage of AI technology, and it gives me more insights. Okay, I'm gonna prioritize this client over the other ones that are just exploring the AI space, because I know specifically how I can help them make more money. Identify decision makers, confirm who in the company holds the authority for making decisions about technology investments. I'd say that this applies only to bigger companies. With smaller companies, you'd end up having a call with a decision maker anyway. Like 95% of our leads usually are companies like that. So we have conversations with decision makers by default. So I don't usually research this unless I know that this is a big company, and then I need to find the relevant persona. Then we have initial engagement indicators. Assess how detailed and clear their initial inquiry or discussion points are. And this is quite important. I have also indicators here. A well-prepared inquiry often indicates they're serious about the project and have a specific vision in mind. So when you go to our site and you click Let's Talk, you have this form. And the last question here is, how can we help? So usually good leads, they would describe specifically what they need, covering different features, describing the business scenario around it. Sometimes people just say, I'm curious to discuss AI in general, so this lead would be unqualified, or at least the priority would be much, much lower. So pay attention to that. And then we have current pain points or goals. Determine if they've outlined any specific challenges or desired outcomes, which shows they have clarity on what they want to achieve. Again, they would actually outline it here. How can we help you? So this is the qualification stage. Again, if you're just starting out, I'd say that this step might be very limited. Just check their website and understand what their business is about, analyze or scrutinize the initial indicators, the description of the solution they are looking for, and then go for it. If you do sales with outbound leads, of course, you need to spend much more time on this step and actually dive much deeper on what they're looking for. All right, the next stage is a discovery call. The objective here is to dive deep into the client's needs, goals, and challenges to align potential AI solutions. So there is a framework how to actually run these calls. Introduction, briefly introduce your agency, your services, yourself, highlighting relevant experience and successful projects, explore client goals, ask about their specific objectives and what they aim to achieve with AI, let them describe their desired solution from a user's perspective. So this is my actually 90% of the call is around this point. Understand pain points, share case studies, set expectations. All right. In reality, again, as I said in the previous lesson, it is good to have this framework in your head, but the highest priority for me is to just engage in a real conversation, trying to actually understand what they need and why they need it from the business point of view, and then understand if the solution they are looking for is feasible, right? So the majority of the call is just them discussing the solution and features they are looking for, me asking questions, or perhaps answering questions if they are asking about feasibility and what is possible, what is not. Sometimes I don't have answers, very often actually, especially in the beginning, and then it is okay. It is much better to say, well, we haven't had this particular experience yet. We haven't worked with this particular third-party tool. So we are going to take some time to explore and we will get back to you with our analysis. That's okay. That is much better than say, oh yeah, we have worked with that. We already done this for another client, to kind of provide more credibility. But sometimes you can say something like that and they ask you a follow-up question and you don't have answer to that. So it might be quite awkward. So try to control yourself, try to be confident, and at the same time, understand that it is okay not to have all the answers to all the questions. And sometimes it is okay to just tell them we need to do our due diligence and then we'll get back to you. So the goal of the discovery call is to understand their requirements for the solution, answer their questions, ask the question about their business for you to clearly understand what they are looking for, okay? Very often you want to close a sale as soon as possible and you just skip some important details and later on you will regret. So try to have a very clear scenario in mind of the customer experience for this solution, and then you can take some time to actually evaluate the feasibility and what it takes to build it out. So that's the main point here. Clarity is the most essential point for a discovery call. Next up, we have exploration phase. The objective here is to assess the feasibility of the project, okay? We need to estimate scope and cost and present a preliminary solution outline. It depends on the size of the project, how exploration phase might look like. For smaller projects like a basic AI chatbot integrated to WhatsApp that provides some customer service, customer support, and maybe integrated with a CRM system, this would be a very popular solution at our agency. And usually we know even during our discovery call that it is feasible, we know the price, but we need to take just 20 minutes after the call to actually check out the API endpoints of that CRM system, just to make sure that we can actually integrate it, that AI endpoints are available. And then we get back to them with our email where we stipulate deliverables, timelines, and pricing. So 3 points of our proposal, and for such smaller projects that would be done. But if you deal with bigger projects, a more comprehensive exploration might be required. In that case, we would charge our prospect only for the exploration stage. Usually we charge $500 and we promise to get back in 2 to 3 days. And we explain why we charge for that, because it requires a significant amount of time to prepare the project roadmap, right? Our approach to the completion. So we would break it down into milestones, we would check the feasibility on each milestone, on each step of the project, and then we would provide our client with the report, with our findings, and then their payment of $500 would be more than justified, even if they don't go for the project, but 99% of cases they would go for it if they already paid for the exploration. So this is also a great sign and qualification metric of how serious they are, right? If they pay you for exploration phase, then they are serious about it, and you can prioritize that project and dedicate your time even to do this exploration stage, because most probably you will take on this project. So again, if you deal with bigger projects, I outlined 5 steps for the exploration phase: feasibility analysis, then data review. So if applicable, review available data or request access to sample data to gauge what's possible, what's not possible. Okay. Scoping the project, develop a high-level project scope with a focus on deliverables, timelines, and costs or pricing. Exploration report, create a report. So this is what we have when we go back to the second call after the exploration phase is completed. So create a report, recommend approach, and metrics like a cosine, similarity score if relevant. We'll get back to this later on in the next lessons. Client follow-up, schedule a follow-up call within 2 to 3 days to present findings, discuss potential solutions, and clarify any questions. So again, if the project is basic and small, there is no follow-up call needed. Usually we just get back to them after the discovery call with our proposal via email. But if an exploration phase is required, if the project is more complex, then you need to schedule another call to actually go through the whole project roadmap. Then we have closing a deal stage. So this usually happens on the second call after the discovery call. After you presented your proposal, they might have more questions, and this is where you handle all the objections after they saw your proposal. So the objective here is to secure the client's commitment by finalizing project terms and obtaining necessary approvals. The actions here would be to review proposal. So you walk the client through the proposed solution, explaining each component, timeline, and cost, then address objections, tackle any concerns around pricing, data privacy, or integration complexity. Usually you'd have to use some case studies and examples to kind of reassure and again point to your credibility. Define success metrics, confirm measurable KPIs that will be used to evaluate the project success. Contract and payment terms. Again, present a formal contract, and I'm going to provide you with a template in the next lessons. Include payment milestones, timelines, and post-project support terms. So we call that a maintenance fee, and we'll also discuss this later on. Obtain approval. So confirm all stakeholders are aligned and secure a signature or formal commitment to proceed. So I tried to prepare these notes as a to-do list for you, right, during each stage. So of course you'll have access to these notes. But again, it depends very much on the size of the project. So usually if it is a small project, a small deal, we have a discovery call. We can sell it during the call right away and just summarize our proposal in the email after the call. So this is the deliverable, this is the pricing, this is the timelines. That's it. Then you send them the invoice and payment link from Stripe. They pay it and you implement. If it is a more comprehensive, you might have another call where you kind of walk through the solution once again, answer all the extra questions they might have, reassure them how it is going to be done, address all the objections, and then get to the implementation stage. Or if it is a really comprehensive project, this call might be like to go through all those milestones in Figma. Before that, you have to prepare a report on the possible completion of the project. So I'd say there are 3 levels of the complexity for this stage. Most of our solutions for now are basic ones, so usually we just close it via email, or we might have another call just to answer some additional questions, and then we close it during that second call. But yeah, the outcome for closing a deal stage is a signed contract and payment terms agreed upon, setting the stage for the implementation phase. And then we have our implementation. The objective here is to develop, deliver, and refine the AI solution through iterative testing with ad hoc client communication as needed, if needed, it depends, and ongoing support through a structured maintenance plan. So for the implementation, let me put it in my words first, and then we'll go through my notes here. Usually, again, with smaller projects, with basic ones, we don't even create any Slack channels. We stick to emails. Usually we get paid. We prepare the whole solution. We prepare a list of requirements for them. Usually they provide us with the knowledge base with some persona instructions like prompt, and then we of course refine that prompt, but we use their initial idea for the prompt as a starting point, right? And all the materials that are needed. We also have prepared a template for them to prepare that prompt, right? There is a role, specifics, context, all of that. I'm sure you know the best practices for prompting. And then we get all these requirements, we complete the project, and we get back to them with the initial result. They give us their feedback. We iterate until we satisfy their expectation. And that's it. But if the project is a bit more comprehensive, we create a Slack channel. We add them to our Slack channel for ad hoc communication because our developers might have questions as they go, and we don't want to wait for the whole day for them to reply via email. So the actions here would be, again, communication setup, then first iteration delivery, then iterative testing and Q&A. So after the first iteration, they provide us with some feedback. We incorporate that feedback back to our assistant, to our solution, and we can go to another iteration. Then we have finalization and handoff. So once testing is complete and all client feedback has been integrated, finalize the solution and deliver it as a fully functional product. Again, it might take a lot of effort to get to their ideal expectation, and that's why cosine similarity score exists. There are some clients that have a very unrealistic expectation, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about how we handle that. But in the beginning, do not overthink it. During the first few months of our agency operations, we didn't do any cosine similarity score. We just genuinely try to incorporate clients' feedback and update the assistants according to that. Just try to get going first, and then you can optimize. And the last action here would be post-implementation support. So usually we charge maintenance fee. That fee covers a few things. We'll get to that later in this module, like database cost, infrastructure cost, AI tokens, etc. But when it comes to technical support, usually we might change the prompt within that post-implementation support. Some minor adjustments, maybe they need to change the button, like in the UI of the chatbot or something like that. But if they need some substantial modifications, so we stipulate that up to 16 hours of development are included in our maintenance fee. But if they need more than that, we will just evaluate the project stage separately and charge them again. And the maintenance fee that we charge, the ongoing fee, again, depends on the project, depends on the client. Usually it is $200 for the basic chatbots, and it might be $500 up to $600 for bigger, more complicated projects, where our involvement might occur more frequently. All right, so yeah, prompt updates, minor adjustments, and for additional development needs, we would offer a separate scoped project stage at an additional cost. Outcome here would be a polished, fully functional AI solution with a structured plan for ongoing support and enhancements as part of the maintenance agreement. And here you have it, 5 stages for our sales process: qualification, discovery call, exploration stage, closing a deal, implementation. High-level details, we are going to have 6 stages for this framework. Intro, then desired solution, where the client describes which kind of solution they are looking for. Then we have some kind of dig-in phase. During this phase, I try to understand better their business context and what their desired outcome looks like in terms of business. Then we have authority building for our agency, kind of. Usually during this stage, we present a few case studies, like just, casually mentioning that we've already done that. Then we discuss the next steps and exploration milestone if needed, and then closing and follow-up actions. Let's go through them one by one. And before we begin, just a quick note that currently we set our Calendly event for the introduction call for 15 minutes only. Previously it was half an hour, but then we realized that it is too long. If we are in control, if there is something meaningful to discuss, we can always extend it, so our prospects are always ready to continue if we need it. But they know that there is a time limit and they tend to jump into the discussion right away. We are extremely busy. We have our YouTube channel, we have agency, we have this academy, and we have some other stuff going on. So it is hard to do a lot of calls during the day and also implementing all those solutions at the same time. So we try to manage our time properly. 15 minutes is more than enough to make your conclusions. And if you need to discuss more details, you can always extend it. So that's my suggestion for you. All right, the first phase is intro. The objective here is to establish rapport and introduce your agency's value proposition. In my case, since 100% of our leads come from my YouTube channel, they already know me, they know what we do, so we don't have to take time and talk about our background and experience in software development, etc., etc. Usually it is a quick introduction, something like, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. I'm Bogdan, this is my partner and CDO Nick. Then we briefly introduce our core offerings. Usually we emphasize that it is custom built to our clients' needs. Example script here is, as you know, at both our agency or at our agency, we specialize in building custom AI solutions, mostly text-based or voice-based AI agents, but also various workflow automation. And then we set the call's purpose, like quickly, briefly describe the agenda for the call. So outline the objectives of the call, emphasizing the focus on understanding their needs and ensuring alignment. Example here is, our goal today is to understand more about your business and what you're looking to build so that we can determine the best way to support you with AI solutions. And that's indeed the main purpose of this call for us, to clearly understand what they are looking for, clearly understand their expected outcome for this solution, and then we can decide if we can help or not. And that's why 15 minutes, right? Because sometimes we understand right away that this is not something we can do, and 15 minutes is more than enough. Next, we have desired solution. So again, the first stage in intro, it takes a few minutes, like 2 minutes max. Unless they ask us to present our background, and it happened a few times in the very beginning. I don't know why it happened in the beginning and not now, but then just describe your experience. I'm sure you've done a lot of stuff in your life, and in our case, it was we built a few startups. We've been selling IT solutions for years. My development team, they have 15 years of experience in software development, and a year ago we started doing AI solutions, and now we are completely focused on that. So our background looked like that if they asked for it. If not, I just quickly introduce ourselves and we move on. So the next step is to understand their desired solution. The objective here is get the client to articulate their vision and specific needs in detail. So here I give the floor to our prospect, and then we build the call from there. Usually it just needs to be a natural conversation where you sincerely try to understand what they're looking for from both a technical point of view and business point of view. So my prompt here, or my question here, might be like, could you tell us a bit about what you're looking to build? And they start explaining. Some people, they explain it very well right away. Some of them are very concise and you need to follow up, ask more questions. The best way to understand better the solution they're looking for is to ask them to walk you through the experience as if they were a user of the system, right? You need to understand the whole user experience, the whole business scenario, and during that explanation, you might realize additional features that are required for this solution. So once they've provided us with their initial explanation for the solution, I try to clarify the functionalities just to build a list of features that need to be included. And later on, we are going to come up with our pricing based on that list of features, right? Because each feature requires a certain amount of development hours, and that's how we price our solution. Okay, so for the clarification of functionalities, we start with the basic knowledge base and persona instructions just to confirm that they will have to provide it to us. We might then tweak a little bit the prompting itself to make it perform better, but the initial prompt and knowledge base files should be provided by the customers. Then we clarify the deployment, so whether it needs to be a chatbot widget on the website or a separate standalone page, and usually for that we would provide an iframe, like a piece of code that would take the whole page for the chatbot, or we need to integrate it to WhatsApp or Instagram or something else. So we clarify that, and then we clarify integrations like third-party tools, calendars, CRM, maybe Stripe. Sometimes they need to send out payment links to confirm the appointment or something like that. So any industry-specific systems as well, all the integrations clarified. Our standard reassurance here is so because sometimes we don't know the third-party tool because it is an industry specific, or we simply haven't worked with them yet. So what we can say is that as long as they have relevant API endpoints, we can do it. But we need to confirm this first, and then we'll get back to you. That's absolutely okay. You don't have to be aware of all the tools and API capabilities out there. So just say that as long as they have it, you can do it. And then the last step for this clarification stage is additional features, because again, sometimes they don't realize that every little thing needs to be built, needs to be coded. And we actually had a few miscommunication cases in the past. So I suggest that you clarify it right away. So for the additional features, we could mention something like chat logs. So it is pretty obvious that they would need chat logs usually, but if we don't build a dashboard where they can check the chat logs or at least store them in a spreadsheet, they wouldn't be able to access them. So we need to clarify that. Do you need chat logs? Do you need conversation memory? Conversation memory means that we need to somehow identify their users. If it is integrated to WhatsApp, it might be identified with a WhatsApp number, or if it is deployed to a website and their users need to log in on their website before they can communicate with the chatbot, they would be identified with email. So once the user is identified, we can store the memory of the conversation threads, and whenever they open a new chat, we would call it, and the assistant would have all the context about their previous conversation. So it is very, very useful for businesses. Usually. Then scraping solutions, again, very, very often request. They have a website, so they need to scrape the website for the knowledge base, or maybe some chatbots need to recommend a list of different tools or resources, and to gather those resources, again, you need to build a scraping solution. So this is what we do manually. And there are a lot of other things. You just need to realize during the call what might be there, what they might expect, and just clarify that it needs to be built additionally. Something like vision capabilities. If someone sends a picture to the chat, it wouldn't recognize it by default. We have to build this, right? All right, so that's the desired solution. First, you allow them to explain it, then you clarify all the features, and then you move on. So after we understand their requirements for the solution, the technical requirements, I like to talk more about their business. So I call it digging phase, because once I understand the initial requirement for the solution, I get to the business context and I might realize that, oh, okay, so they expect it to perform like that. So most probably they also need this and that. So this is a very useful stage just to make sure you are completely clear. It is better to ask more questions during your discovery call rather than say, okay, I understood, and then start implementation and realize on the later stage that they want something completely different, and it triggers a lot of issues. Okay, so the objective here is dive deeper into the target outcome, use cases, and potential value of the AI solution. First, I try to discuss their desired outcome, ask questions to get a feel for their vision and define success together. So usually it doesn't have to sound like from a book, just make it conversational. Like, okay, if everything goes exactly right, what do you imagine happening? What would a win look like for you with this AI solution that we are going to build together? So like simple question just to get their expectation better. And then we have target market and monetization. Explore their target audience and how they envision monetizing or deriving value from this solution. An example here might be who would be the primary users of this AI system. We had a call where once I asked this question, I realized that my whole understanding on the chatbot was wrong, because it was supposed to deliver service to different target audience. So it changed everything. Okay, so it is very important that you understand the whole business scenario for its usage. So then follow-up questions. Once they describe their target market and target users for this system, I might ask, how many of them do you expect, like on monthly or daily basis? And understanding this can also give you a better idea how big of a problem you'd solve for them. And then you can tweak the pricing accordingly, right? Because when you price your solution, you don't only evaluate the amount of developing hours that you'd spend on this, but also we need to understand how much they would save, okay, how big of a problem you solve for them, and then you can adjust the price accordingly. So if they say like, we don't have any users currently, we are just going to launch this website and we just want to have this AI chatbot in place, all right, then you focus more on the developing hours. But if they say we get 500 leads per day and we have a team of 15 people to handle all those inquiries, then you understand that, of course, they're going to save a lot of money on this, and you can price your solution a bit higher, right? And current challenges. So try to identify pain points that the AI solution will help alleviate. An example question here might be, what are some current challenges or bottlenecks that you'd like this AI to help solve? Again, just dig a bit deeper and understand what really motivates them to invest into this solution. All right, the next phase is case studies and authority building. Obviously, the objective here is to reinforce trust and kind of showcase your expertise by sharing relevant success stories. Now, it depends on where you are on your journey. If you are a beginner, and most of you are, you won't have any specific examples. But anyway, what you need to do is to introduce relevant case studies. Okay, so share examples of similar projects your agency has handled, ideally ones that align closely with the client's industry or requirements. So if you have a relevant case study with results, something you actually completed, and you can share the results, you can say something like, we actually did something pretty similar for another client. We help them improve customer interactions with an AI chatbot, exactly the one that we are now discussing. And they actually measure the performance, and they realized that it boosted their response efficiency by around 30%. So it made a big difference for them, and I'm pretty sure it will do the same for you. That is what you can say if you have even like numbers and if they indeed measured the result. If you don't have exact numbers but have done some similar work already, you can say something like, this is definitely doable. We have handled a very similar request before, but it was for a different industry, for dental, for example. Okay, so here you just need to reassure that it is feasible for you, right? You kind of prove your technical expertise. While if you have a relevant case study with results, with numbers, not only you reassure them of your capability to build this solution technically, but also you reassure them of the results that they might expect because it already worked for someone else from their industry. So yeah, try to mention that casually, sometimes just, we've already done that, so it is all clear. Let's move on. And then step number 2 here in this phase is to emphasize AI's adaptability. Mention that AI is adaptable, but sometimes unpredictable, setting realistic expectations. And this is important. Many of your potential customers might not have realistic expectations. There is so much hype. People just imagine that you use natural language to program it to do everything. It is not working like that at this stage. So I try to mention something like, when dealing with AI, you are dealing with a black box a lot of the time. We prefer to be cautious and run an exploration phase to make sure the technology can meet your goals. Just make sure you mention that there is a lot of unpredictable things when it comes to AI generated outcome. Okay, so tell them about the best case scenarios for using AI, and usually I say that the best performance we see is with straightforward tasks. So for example, if you have a appointment setter or appointment reminder, we like to script it with straightforward questions where the answers would be yes or no, right? Sometimes our customers want us to build an agent that would replace a salesperson, that would master the art of sales, spark interest, engage the leads, and sell their products. And then I try to explain that unfortunately it is not there yet and you might be disappointed. So let's start with this straightforward script, and then we can iterate and optimize it according to your needs. So mention how ideal their case is for the AI usage. Refer to some of your clients and say they are smart. So yeah, this is what I like to do. Basically, I try to do it only when this is true. So usually we have a client, they want a customer support chatbot that uses their frequently asked questions to provide customer service, and they want to deploy it to website. That's actually the ideal scenario for the usage of AI chatbots. So I try to mention that AI chatbots perform really great with these kind of tasks. So it is very smart to start implementing AI in your business, and this way you reassure them and compliment them on how smart they are, right? Okay, next steps and exploration milestone. The objective here is to explain the exploration phase and set clear expectations for moving forward. First, explain the exploration stage. Emphasize that this stage is necessary to validate project feasibility before a full commitment. Example script here is to ensure the AI can meet your expectations. We first run an exploration phase where we analyze your requirements and check technical feasibility. Then we set timeline and deliverables. So ask about their desired timeline to start and confirm your commitment to provide feedback quickly. Example questions, just try to understand how urgent it is. How quickly are you looking to start? Say that our exploration milestone is typically completed within 3 days, and we then get back to you with detailed findings, including deliverables, pricing, and timelines. Now, this depends on the complexity of the project. If it is a basic AI chatbot, like customer support chatbot deployed to a website and integrated to WhatsApp, we don't need to pitch an exploration phase because we don't actually need it. So all I say is that after this call, I'm going to send you an email with the summary, and in that summary I'll include the deliverables and the timelines and the pricing. That's it. But if we see that the project is quite complex, we need to do the exploration stage, then we use these kind of explanations and scripts. And we usually take up to 3 days to evaluate the project and build the roadmap, and we actually prepare the report with our findings, and then we organize another call to walk them through that report. So yeah, confirm agreement on exploration terms. Usually if we need to do that exploration phase, I say something like, the last thing we want is for you to commit to something that current technology cannot deliver. We'll confirm feasibility and provide a roadmap through an exploration milestone, which is a small initial investment. So I need to tell them that it costs $500 because we are going to spend 2 to 3 days of our time And for that, we are going to provide you with the report on the feasibility. So that's absolutely fine. And as I mentioned in my previous lessons, if they pay that $500 initial small investment for our exploration phase, it proves that they are serious about this project, and usually they will move on even with a higher price. And the last step is closing and follow-up actions. So the objective here is to summarize the call and confirm next steps, including the exploration milestone if applicable. So usually we just summarize everything that was discussed. I repeat all the features that they wanted to implement. So summarize key points, recap their goals, needs, and the next steps to show active listening and understanding. I say something like, to summarize, we are going to build a custom AI chatbot that can, and then I just say A, B, C, D according to what was discussed. And then I say our next step is to dive into our exploration phase to ensure this is feasible and provide a solid plan. This is for more complicated projects. For more basic projects, I'd say our next step is to provide you with our proposal via email within 12 hours after this call. So yeah, confirm next steps and timeline, clarify that the client will receive a summary and next steps within 12 hours, reinforce that the exploration report will include key findings, a proposal, and all deliverables. Again, example script here is, we'll follow up within 12 hours with a confirmation of the exploration phase, which will include the scope, pricing, and the timeline. Once we receive your go-ahead, we'll get started right away. So once they pay us for the exploration stage, we will get started. Set the expectations for future communication, mention how communication will proceed after the exploration phase if they decide to move forward. Again, we evaluate on the go, I evaluate the complexity of the project, and if I see that we will have to communicate often, I tell that I will invite you to the Slack channel, so we will have some kind of ad hoc communication channel. If not, I just stick with emails and I tell them that we're going to be in touch via email. How to price your services as an AI and automation agency. Okay, so I'm going to show you this document. I've put quite a lot of text here, so you'll have to forgive me. I might be reading a lot during this lesson, but I decided that it's better to include more text and read more rather than forget something important. And also you'll notice there are some comments in yellow, highlighted with yellow color. These comments relate to our agency's experience. So whenever I want to provide example from our agency's real life experience, I just highlight it with yellow to separate from the main lesson's content. All right, so how to price your services. First of all, free resources. I'd like to refer you to this awesome video by Y Combinator on how to price for B2B. It is a bit irrelevant in terms of having a ready to sell packaged solution, right? So they don't discuss a custom built solution for each client. So it might be a bit irrelevant sometimes, but the overall philosophy, the overall approach and how to think about pricing is really, really great breaking down in this video. So I definitely recommend you watch it first and then get back to our lesson and watch it here. So figuring out your value. In this game, your value is a mix of your skills and experience plus credibility. And obviously, the more projects you complete, the sharper your skills get, the more you know about what it takes to deliver results, and the more case studies you have in your portfolio, which contributes to your credibility. And just to make sure we are aligned, let me quickly explain what I mean by skills, experience, and credibility. So skills is your technical capability of building solutions. It means how well you know chatbot builders, how well you can integrate various third-party tools, how confident you are with different API endpoints, and overall how technically capable you are to provide a solution. And then we have experience. Obviously, real-world projects teach you a ton, how to work with clients, how to troubleshoot, and overall make sure the job actually solves a client's problem. So the more experience you get, the better you understand it during even, sales calls when you dive into the business context a bit deeper. You learn to understand if it is even possible to solve their problem with this AI solution or not really. So experience, and then we have credibility, case studies, testimonials, and overall your brand reputation and track record. And to put it in our context, at both our agency, when it comes to skills, our CTO has 15 years of experience in software development. He is a fully skilled as a full stack developer, and he has been focused solely on building AI solutions for the past year. So we have the expertise covered pretty much. When it comes to experience, we've done over 100 sales calls and completed more than 20 similar projects. And this is only related to AI, strictly AI projects. Before that, we've done many more IT projects. But since we switched our focus to AI, completed 20 projects successfully, over 100 sales calls, and we learned valuable lessons through conversations with those prospects and customers, and building real-world solutions. And when it comes to credibility, well, all of our completed projects, of course, serve as case studies and testimonials, and plus for the last 9 months, I've been showcasing our AI solutions on YouTube, like how we build it. And this way I add a lot to our track record and credibility. Okay, now let's assume you are a beginner, and let's think how to price our solution if you haven't had any experience. So let's assume you have some skills because you've completed this course, but you have no experience at all and you have no credibility. In this case, how to price? Well, first, keep prices low. At this stage, gaining experience is more important than high earnings. I see a lot of people just making the same mistake of trying to make a lot of money, and they just skip this learning stage. They don't have experience. Just be patient. You have to complete a few projects before you can charge more. Some people even advocate doing free projects early on to gain experience. I personally don't agree with that. So let me explain why. I agree that experience is valuable, but working for free can devalue your skills, okay? Instead, offer to create a free demo. And that would be practically the same. So you might actually build the whole solution as a demo, right? So it would be the same as you build the whole project. But after that free demo satisfies your client, you will still charge them for the full project. And this way you maintain your value while lowering the risk for your clients to commit, okay? I don't know about you, but when someone reaches out to me honestly saying that they are a complete beginner in a particular field and they want to provide a solution to me, I just don't need that. I have a business to run and I need a solution that will solve my problem. So I need some reassurance that I deal with experts. So I suggest that you present yourself as experts, and you can even build a free demo to prove the value of your solution, and then you charge your client for that solution. So that's just my suggestion. Our approach at our agency has been to close deals first without overcharging. As I say, charge low because you need experience, but we also never wanted to work for free. Another reason for that was that we needed to prove the hypothesis that people would pay us money for these chatbots, right? They would pay us $10 to $1,500 for an AI chatbot, right? We needed to prove that. The only way to prove that is to actually get paid. So for our first project, and I just wanna, share some insights with you. We built an AI assistant iframe. It was essentially embedding a custom GPT, the one you can use in ChatGPT, right, into the client's website with basic design integration. So the difference between us and Chatbase was that we built a custom UI for them, for their website, right? They handled all the prompting, all the knowledge base. We didn't even prompt engineer, that was on their side. We just developed the assistant and the UI for their website. They wanted to integrate like 4 custom GPTs to their website, and the pricing broke down as $800 setup fee for the first custom GPT, and then $300 per GPT for all the following ones. So we charge them 800 plus 300 plus 300 plus 300, $1,700 in total for integrating 4 custom GPTs to their website. And that was our first project that we got paid for. And we could charge this because we already had the skills and experience. As I mentioned, our CTO and me, we have some experience in IT development, etc. But if you're just starting out, consider charging a bit less, maybe 500 for your first bot, providing that it is a basic one, right? Like this one, GPT to a website. And then you can increase your pricing as you gain more experience and testimonials. All right, so the cost-based pricing strategy. I believe it is perfect for beginners. It is reliable, it is straightforward, and ensures that you're covering all your costs while adding a healthy margin, all right? So here's how it works, and doesn't matter if you build it yourself or hire a developer. You should use the same formula because later on you can just delegate to developers and the pricing structure would remain the same. And the steps are the following. First, estimate how much time the project will take. Then multiply those hours by the hourly rate of your developer or yourself if you are a developer in this case. And then add a markup at least 2x to start with. Later on, you can add more depending on different contexts. You can add 3x, 5x, even for bigger projects. It will depend. But to get started, I suggest that you add 2x, and this way you will cover your cost and there is some margin to make a profit. For example, for a chatbot project estimated to take 40 hours and a developer rate of $50 per hour, the base cost would be $2,000. And if you apply 2x markup, it will bring the price to $4,000. And this is how we currently price our solutions at both our agency. Well, we are changing it as we are getting on bigger projects, and now we try to actually apply value equation, and I'm going to discuss how it works a bit later on in this lesson. But overall, this approach, the cost-based pricing strategy, it keeps things profitable for you while giving clients a fair price. Plus, it's predictable. You always know you're covering costs and making a profit. So this is enough to get started. If you just watch this lesson so far, you can apply this strategy and price your solutions. But let's elaborate on how to price your solutions as you progress, right? So there are a few tips and techniques to apply as you grow and gain experience. The first tip is to aim to lose 25% of deals. Okay, so the rule we currently follow, it is from Y Combinator Startup School. It is to increase the price by a certain amount. In our case, we decided to increase it by $500 for each new project until we start losing about 25% of deals. And that would be a good sign we are in the right pricing range. If you are winning every deal, you're most probably underpricing. So that's the golden rule. Try to lose like 25 to 30%, and then your price would be a proper one, not to leave any money on the table. And when it comes to our current stage at our agency, we are not only increasing the gross price that we charge our clients, but we also save on costs because now that we have foundational pieces ready from the previous projects, we can finish some projects faster with fewer development hours needed to actually build the solution, but we still price it as we were building it from scratch, right? And this way, we keep our prices steady. We're just testing this $500 step while increasing our margins because there are less developing hours required. The second tip is the value equation, and this is very important. This is really the essence of understanding sales. If you nail this one, you will be definitely a great salesperson for any business, okay? Let me quickly explain what it means. We are currently trying to implement this, so we are diving deeper into conversations with our customers. So let me explain. To apply the value equation to your pricing, you need to actually sit down with your client to estimate the value you are bringing to them. For example, if a customer support team of 10 people costs the client $30,000 per year each, so totaling $300K, and your solution could save 20% of their time, of the time of that customer support team, that would be $60K saved. okay? You could charge between 25% and 50% of that savings, say $15,000. And this way, the client saves 45K and you earn 15K. It is a win-win, right? The tricky part is proving the time savings. So we assumed that you could save 20% of their time, and obviously they know how much the customer support team costs and how much the 20% of their time would cost, but we are not certain about the 20%. So that's the tricky part. How to approach this, how to prove that you can actually do it. The recommendation from YC is to offer a pilot project for a month, for example, and very carefully measure results together with your client, okay? And after the pilot, adjust the pricing if needed. So you provide the solution, you measure how much time you save, and before that, you actually agree with the client that let's share the savings, like 30% to us and 70% to you. You measure it and then you get your value equation share. That's a tricky part, but this way you can make much more money if you get on bigger projects. And imagine there is a call center team with 100 people and they spend $2 million each year. If you manage to save 20% of their time, you would earn hundreds of thousands from one deal, right? So that's the most profitable, but also the most complicated approach. For this approach, it is essential to build a relationship with the client. You have to be comfortable to actually sit down with them and agree on all of that. You have to be comfortable to discuss their business in such depth that you can understand how much money they spent on this and that. Not just take a technical task to complete, but actually build a relationship and save their costs in partnership together with them. And this is why it is crucial to understand their business context and the true ROI. And only then it will be a win-win deal. So I believe the value equation part is very important. And for us, it is our goal now to actually try and understand our customers' context well enough to be able to discuss the value equation approach. All right, the tip number 3 is cost. Just a little separation between your approach to the cost in the beginning and later on during your later stages. In the beginning, we use a cost-based pricing strategy to gain experience, the one that we discussed, right? You have your developing hours, you add 2x markup, and there you go, you have your price. But as we progress, we shift to a value-based approach where cost becomes just the baseline. Let me explain. At that stage, we don't start with cost, we start with the value equation, the one we just discussed. And then you just need to make sure that your share of the value equation is not lower than your costs, right? For example, if your share of the value equation is $15,000 and the project cost is $3,000, we have a 5x markup in this case, and it is perfect. You are golden. However, if our share is $15,000, but costs turn out to be $20,000, obviously it's not commercially sustainable. And in that case, you'll need to adjust your value equation share accordingly, right? You'll have to rediscuss with your client and make sure that you make money. That's just something to keep in mind. Your cost is your baseline. You cannot get your value equation share lower than that. Then we have tip number 4, competition. Well, first, try to understand how much your competitors charge for similar solutions. If they are charging less and you try to undercut them, they will try to undercut you, and it can lead to a race to the bottom, right? Nobody wins. Instead, try to focus on finding a unique angle. Specializing in a specific area is ideal, so it sets you apart from competitors, allowing you to maintain your pricing because they can't deliver exactly what you can. Finding a specific niche or being the best at a particular solution is the right way to approach this, rather than decreasing your price to match with your competitors. And one more thing to mention here is community is key. As you might know, I am part of a small group with Leah Motley, Dave Abel, Yanis Moore, and 12 other AI agency owners. We have weekly meetings, and during these meetings, we discuss everything pretty much. So we share different insights including how much we price for our solutions. So it gives me a solid benchmark. Okay, I know how that guy, how Liam Otley charges. And that way I can understand what businesses are ready to pay, not only based on my experience and my conversations with businesses, but also I utilize my network. And that's a good thing that you've joined AA Fellowship now, because you can discuss different details of your business with other AAF members. So that was one of the main points of our community here. All right, now let's discuss how we set payment terms. This is important to have clarity on that, first of all, with your client, right? You have to communicate this clearly so there are no doubts when it comes to payment terms. And there are two approaches, very straightforward. Let's just quickly go through them. Approach number one is to charge 50% upfront and 50% on completion. This is what we usually do. Only if we deal with bigger projects like above 10,000, we would go for milestones. But let's quickly discuss 50% upfront and 50% on completion. Here's why this structure works well. First of all, the upfront payment covers the costs completely, assuming that you have that 2x markup that we discussed. It also secures the client's commitment, because if they've paid you something, it means they are serious about this. For the client, it's also a balanced approach, because they are not taking the full risk if you can't deliver. So it is like 50-50 risk sharing model, and usually it is widely accepted by all our prospects. Also, the client can't just pay the first 50% and start using the solution without paying the second half. Because if the code and AA keys and everything is on your side, you can always disable the solution, right? For clients who want full control, so sometimes they ask to transfer the code to their AWS account and use their API keys. It is okay, usually we do that, but you need to first deliver the project, get it approved by the client, then get the payment, and only then transfer it to their AWS account. And that should be the flow. Otherwise, if you transfer it first, then you're not protected. They might just start using it and you won't get paid for the second half of the price. And that's the flow you need to follow. When it comes to our experience, we had only one instance where we didn't receive the final payment, the second installment. It was a $2,000 chatbot. And the way we structured the price was that we received $1,250 upfront. And then we should have received $750 upon completion, but the client withheld $750 due to we had kind of a misunderstanding about the deliverables and its features. So we didn't discuss clearly that if they wanted to have memory, if they wanted to have a dashboard with chat logs, we would have to charge extra to actually develop that. They assumed that they would get it for free. And we learned three important lessons from that. First of all, clarify all features upfront. Make sure they realize that they would have to pay for additional development and that all the little thing needs to be developed. Ideally, sign a contract. We are going to discuss the contracts in the next lesson. And don't transfer the code to their account until you've received the full payment. So that's three lessons we learned from this particular example. And approach number two is to charge per milestone. If the project is over $10,000, consider breaking it into milestones and charging upfront for each milestone. For example, if there are 5 milestones at $3,000 each, we'd charge $3,000 before starting each milestone. So we would bill them 5 times every time before we begin the implementation of the next milestone. Okay, now let's discuss retainers, when and why we use them. We also refer to this as a maintenance fee or ongoing fee, so something you have to pay every month, like a subscription based. And we actually use Stripe to create a subscription, and they just attach their card and they are automatically billed on monthly basis. Sometimes a retainer is simply necessary. Some projects require regular support, like adjusting prompts, modifying solutions, or making other updates. It depends on the context of the business, especially for bigger projects. So for larger projects, it's almost always essential. For example, if you build a $20,000 a minimum viable product for a SaaS. Usually development won't stop there. If you ever dealt with a SaaS product, you know that you have to fix things all the time, you have to maintain it, and in that case the retainer might be several $1,000 because it would be indeed an ongoing work for you, right? For basic chatbots, we charge $200 to $300 just to be available for them and support them as needed. Usually just, update the prompt or add a few more FAQs to their knowledge base. And we justify this payment like this. So we're going to charge monthly maintenance. It costs $200 per month. Our monthly maintenance package includes data storage and infrastructure costs. We use MongoDB and AWS. AA token usage up to 2 million tokens per month. Then we say that additional token usage will be reimbursed by the client. We also provide timely resolution of any issues or bugs. We update the prompt, and we also provide regular updates to the assistant with new technology to optimize costs and quality. And we say that this involvement from our side includes up to 16 working hours, and additional hours will be billed at $45 per hour, which is a decreased rate, right? Because our usual rate is $105 per hour. Usually what we mean by new technology, there is GPT-4o, but then we got a GPT-4o mini, and it is much cheaper, so we had to go to the assistant and just change the model, right? And these kind of updates happen very often. As you know, the industry evolves very fast, and we sell to our clients that they want to be up to date, they want to save on costs, and they want to achieve better performance, right? Also, sometimes the retainer is optional if the client has a tight budget, and we understand that we don't really need to do anything to support it. Then we could opt out, so we can agree to exclude the maintenance fee. However, we make it clear to them that if they need support later on, if they need us to update something, first of all, we might not be immediately available. They would not be our priority. And second of all, any support will be billed at $105 per hour. So when we clarify this, usually they think about it and they agree to our maintenance package. Okay, recap and final takeaways. First, start low to build experience and credibility. Begin with low-cost projects to gain experience and establish a solid reputation. Use cost-based pricing at first, the one we discussed. While overall we believe this is not the best approach to start from cost, you need to start from value. But in the beginning, let's start from cost, and then we will understand how to price our solutions better. But in the beginning, this approach covers your costs, even the first payment, if you apply 2x margin, and it will make your pricing predictable and profitable. Then switch to value-based pricing as you grow. So once you have experience, start pricing based on the value you bring to clients rather than just your costs, just as I said. Set clear milestones and payment terms, avoid misunderstandings, do not repeat our mistakes, define exactly what's being delivered feature by feature, and set clear payment milestones or clear payment terms. Offer retainers for ongoing support. For larger projects or clients who need regular updates, use a retainer model to ensure stable ongoing work. You just have to explain why it is needed, and there shouldn't be any problems with that. If it is not needed, then you can as well exclude the ongoing support. It's not necessary. And increase rates as you gain experience and demand grows. So if you have a large influx of leads and you can allow yourself to select the ones you work with, that's the case when you can actually experiment with your price and start increasing it. So adjust your prices upward as your experience and portfolio expand, aiming to lose around 25% of deals to avoid underpricing. This is what we currently do at our agency. We have more leads than we can handle, so we started increasing our pricing, and now we try to understand where that point is, where we lose 25% of deals, not 75%. So we are experimenting back and forth, and also we are trying to properly estimate the value that we can deliver and try to base our pricing on that value, not on our costs. Okay, I think that's it for pricing. By this point, you already put in a ton of work: lead generation, sales calls, project discovery, and now you are at the proposal stage, which is really the final step to closing the deal. I'll be honest, we used to underestimate how important this step is. Our early proposals looked like this, just plain emails with a basic list of features. But now we send out well-designed, visually appealing presentations with a clear development roadmap and set expectations for the client. We've tested both approaches and the difference is clear. Most clients respond much better to a polished presentation. It just looks more professional, and it's especially important for higher value projects like anything over $10,000, where we've seen a much higher conversion rate after making the switch. So I highly recommend doing the same. And don't just send the proposals. Schedule a quick call to walk your client through it, and this way you can keep the momentum going. You can address all the questions and concerns right away. The goal of your proposal is to make everything as clear as possible for your prospect. Here are the main points you absolutely want to include in your presentation. Number one is clear deliverables. You need to outline exactly which features and functionalities will be included in the project, so there is no confusion, there is no claims from either side, because it is fixed, it is stipulated in the proposal, and you can refer to it at any time during the project. Next, you've got milestones, timelines, and pricing. Obviously, you need to break down the key phases of the project, estimated delivery dates, and a transparent pricing structure. So there is no confusion, no doubts when and how much needs to be paid in order for you to continue working on the project. And then next steps. Spell out what happens after the proposal is accepted, so your client knows exactly how to move forward. And that way you also keep the momentum going. You don't just send out the proposal and wait for their feedback. You describe specifically what is expected from them, and ideally you can also give them a deadline so that you know what is expected and when it is expected. These three are non-negotiable. Every proposal should have them. And then of course you can add extra details depending on the specifics of the project. I'm gonna share a few example proposals in a moment, and you can also get them from my resource hub. But now let me show you exactly how my workflow looks so we can streamline your process and make your life a whole lot easier. So here's how our stack for preparing proposals looks: Phaeton plus exploration stage plus ChatGPT and Gamma. Let me quickly walk you through the flow. Step 1, record all your sales calls with Phaeton. The URL is phaeton.video. It's free and works with Google Meet, so you can use it with all your calls. This lets you review the actual call recording or just grab the full transcript later. Super helpful for staying organized. Step 2, use ChatGPT to turn that transcript into an exploration task for your developers or for yourself, just to stay organized. After every discovery call, our next step is always a discovery or an exploration stage. This helps us and the client clarify the scope of work, spot any challenges, and price the project properly. As the project manager, my job is to create a clear Jira task for the development team. We use Jira for task management. So to save time, I just tell ChatGPT, here's my sales call transcript, create a Jira task so my development team can prepare and run the exploration stage. That's it. I paste in the transcript and ChatGPT does the rest. Copy the output into Jira and you're good to go. Step 3, once the devs finish their exploration and send back their notes, sometimes just a rough draft, I take both the call transcript and their feedback and feed it back to ChatGPT. I'll ask something like, here's the transcript, here's the dev feedback. Please draft a client proposal that covers our main sections, deliverables, milestones, pricing, next steps, and format it as a slide presentation. And ChatGPT gives me a solid draft that I can work with. And step 4, take that proposal text and drop it into an AI presentation tool like Gamma.app or GenSpark. Just paste the output from ChatGPT with your corrections, pick a slide template, and generate a polished, visually appealing presentation in seconds. This is Gamma. If you want, you can do the same in GenSpark to compare quality. A lot of my peers switch to GenSpark now, but they're both great AI-powered options for slide decks. Fast, efficient, and it impresses clients with clear, professional proposals. Now let's just jump in and I'll show you exactly how it looks in practice. Once the presentation is ready, you can easily go through the slides, swap out the images, tweak the text, or delete any slides you don't need. It takes me maybe 15 to 20 minutes to polish it up and get it client ready. Here on the right hand side, you can see what the same proposal looks like in GenSpark. Both tools are solid, so just pick whichever design style you prefer. The main point is the entire process from recording your sales calls to generating the proposal is AI driven. All that's left for me is a quick round of final edits and it's done. Let me show you a couple of real proposals we've created for actual projects. Here's one for a full stack AI suite. We included a chatbot, voice assistant, and outbound automation. The slides break down deliverables like a customer support chatbot, website widget, inbound and outbound voice agents, plus a clear project roadmap. Milestones, pricing, in this case $9,500 in total, ongoing support details, and clear next steps for the client, right? Approve the proposal, settle the initial payment, provide a material checklist, join our Slack channel, and we start building together. There is always a quick about us slide too, with some background on our team and links to my YouTube channel, maybe something else depending on the client. Here's another example for an AI strategy platform. In this one, I even added screenshots to show how the admin dashboard would work, creating client accounts, uploading documents, configuring agent settings, and letting clients chat with their own AI agents. So I included real screenshots like a demo for them. We highlighted our tech stack, laid out the full development timeline and payment structure, 50% upfront, 50% after phase 1, and included sections on future expansion and security since those were top priorities for that client. You know, every proposal gets customized based on what matters most to the client. By the way, once again, a reminder, I am going to include these proposal templates in our school community so you can use them for your projects. Usually, once everything is ready, we schedule a call to walk the client through the presentation, showing them visual examples of the final solution like I did with the screenshots in that second presentation really helps with the buy-in and something more and more clients are asking for these days. To be honest, right now we are working on several projects at once, and all of them involve building a custom dashboard for our clients. This is a very common request, especially for companies operating in the B2B space that want more control and flexibility. The usual request is simple. Can you create a dashboard where we have full admin access? So here's what that looks like. This is a real dashboard we built. You can log in, and once you're inside, you've got a clean, easy to use interface. You can create AI agents with custom settings, upload your own knowledge base like FAQs or documents, view all customer conversations, and even step in for a human takeover if needed. There is also a user management tab to keep track of everything. The reason so many businesses come to us instead of using no-code builders like Chatbase is mostly about privacy, pricing, full customization, and having total control over their data. We build and deploy these dashboards directly to their infrastructure, so everything stays secure and they own the entire solution. Plus, authentication is a big deal. They are B2B companies, right? So they have a dashboard where they can create an AI agent and sell it to their clients. With our solution, they can give each client their own login, so they get a dedicated space to chat with their AI agent. And of course, running your own dashboard, your own solution is much more cost effective in the long run than paying monthly fees for SaaS no-code tools. Because this has been such a popular request, we've turned our custom built dashboard into a ready-to-use template that you can download from our exclusive community, the first link in the video description. Our CTO, Nick, will even walk you through it in a Loom video, showing exactly how to use and adapt it for your clients. This can save you a ton of time and effort, and you could easily sell a setup like this for $5,000 or more. You know, just grab it from our resource hub, customize to your needs, and you're good to go. The idea is that this can be your launchpad for selling B2B AI solutions, and inside the community you'll get access to a lot of other useful resources like standalone chatbot UI or chatbot widget projects, so you are more equipped to offer professional solutions with custom UI, not just pre-configured widgets by no-code tools. Inside this exclusive school community, you'll get way more than just the templates and dashboards. You'll have access to all the resources I talked about in this video: SOPs, sales scripts, outreach templates, custom website designs, and a lot more. But honestly, the real value is in the support and community. You'll have a real place to stay consistent and accountable. Plus, you'll get weekly Q&A sessions where you can brainstorm ideas, discuss go-to-market strategies, and troubleshoot your projects directly with me and my co-founder, CTO Nick, who by the way has 15 years of software experience and can really help you find the best approach for your technical challenges. We are just now launching this new school community, and for the first 25 people who join, the price is only $99, and that's locks in for life. We are adding new templates and resources every single month. So if you sign up early, you'll get access to everything now and in the future at that same discounted rate. After the first 25 members, the price will go up, and we'll keep increasing it as more people join. So if you want to lock in the best deal and get access to all the new templates we release, now is definitely the best time to jump in. So now you have had your discovery call, you have had your second call probably, you've presented your proposal, your client has agreed to the proposal, and now how to proceed. So this is our framework, how we proceed with the service delivery. The first step is onboarding. So there are a few things you need to do after you have their agreement to move on. First of all, sign a contract. So I decided not to prepare a separate video on contracting. There is a very well structured video by Liam Otley, and you know, I agree completely with everything he says about contracting here. He also goes through the template here, and we are using the same template at our agency. So just watch this video. It is only 8 minutes long, and use the same template that we do. I've attached it here. You will also find it in the templates folder. So to sign a contract, we use DocuSign. I recommend using DocuSign, or you can also just print it out, sign it, send it to them, and they will do the same. But DocuSign is obviously more flexible and just professional. Along with the contract, we usually send them a Stripe link for the payment and an invoice. For invoicing, you might use Simple Invoices.io, very popular service. A lot of guys actually use it for AA agencies. It is paid. It is like $15 per month. Plus, when we use it, there were some additional fees implied by Stripe, so you need to check it out. You can also use a free one. There is freeinvoicebuilder.com. You can generate your invoices here, but the difference is that with Simple Invoices, you'd have a Stripe payment link right on the invoice, so very convenient. With a free invoice builder, you'd have to send separately your invoice and generate a payment link in Stripe separately, and then send a payment link together with the invoice. We use another tool. We don't use Simple Invoice. We don't use Free Invoice Builder. We are a Polish company. We have an accountant here in Poland. So we use a software, like very old school software that our accountant told us to use because it is just convenient for them to do our taxes that way. But anyway, that doesn't matter. These tools are very good. Again, Simple Invoices, it has payment methods right there. Or if you don't want to pay for any software for generating invoices, Free Invoice Builder is a good choice, but you'd have to send a Stripe payment link separately. So once you've sent a contract to sign, an invoice, and a payment link from Stripe, you need to set up communication channel. Usually we use Slack for that. So just make sure to create an external channel and do not add your client as a team member to your workspace, and then gather requirements. So obviously you need some materials from your client to build that assistant for them. So once you've signed the contract and you got paid and you've added them to your Slack channel, that's the time to ask them to provide you with all the materials you require to start working on the project. Quite often they will want you to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, before sharing anything. So we always sign it with no problems, just carefully read it, make sure it is a decent NDA. And then for most of our projects, we need the following information from the clients. documents for the knowledge base or any data they want to use, then initial instructions for the prompt. That helps us a lot. So we use this as a starting point, like the prompt that they prepare, and then we just fine tune it, we optimize it based on our experience and implementing our prompt engineering skills. And then some examples of messages they expect users to ask, and some ideal responses to those messages in the desired tone, length, and style. And then depending on the project, sometimes we need some accesses to their accounts, to the third-party tools. So they would add our developers as team members or as developers to their tools, including some API keys for testing. And here's an example that you can use. Just a real template that we use while asking for requirements. So, hi, client's name. It was great talking to you yesterday, or doesn't matter. We are excited to kick off your chatbot project. To get things underway, here's a quick list of what we'll need from you. Documents or data for the chatbot's knowledge base, instructions for the bot, and here I give them a little structure how to provide me with that prompt, right? Define the role you want the chatbot to play, describe the tasks it should perform, include any specific details or emotional cues, and provide context about your business. So I know how to structure the prompt, and I give them this high-level detailed structure just to provide us with this initial prompt, and then we will iterate and make it better. The next thing is to provide us with some user queries that they expect the chatbot to handle and ideal responses to these queries, reflecting their desired tone and style. That's it. With this information, we will have everything we need to get started. Then the next step, once we have handled our contracting, invoicing, payment links, we've added them to Slack, and we've received all the materials required to start working on the project. The next phase is building the first iteration for their solution. A few steps here. So first of all, set up project management tools. It might be Jira or Trello. We use Jira. It might be Asana or something else, doesn't matter what you use. So use Jira or Trello to manage tasks. Ensure that all requirements for the solution are documented in the relevant task. So we like to keep it like one task in Jira per one project. And within that task, we have all the needed information about that project. So desired deliverables, all the features that needed to be implemented, and all the materials that we received from the client to actually build the solution. So all of that should be recorded in that task in Jira, in your task management tool, because as you go, communication can get messy and you can just start losing some important files or context that have been sharing during your communication. So this step is essential. Once you have 3-4 projects or more, it becomes very, very complicated to keep track of everything if you don't use a project management tool. Then develop the first iteration of the solution. So begin building the first iteration, concentrating on the essential features. Yeah, you need to focus on the essential features to be able to test them, and then work on all the little things that you need to add to fine-tune the solution, all the add-ons that you discussed. But first focus on the essence of the solution, then test your first iteration. So once you or your developers complete the first iteration, test it carefully, catch any bugs or issues, and then give it to your client. When giving to your client, we like to say that this is the first iteration, and we kind of invite them to test it out along with us, so that we can cooperate on making it perform better. So we invite them to test it and provide us with their feedback. And that brings us to the next phase, which is revisions. So once we have completed the first iteration and given that to our client for testing, after they've tested, we try to schedule a review call. We've learned that it is better to jump on a call and discuss it rather than exchanging all the emails, etc. So we gather the feedback from our client, we capture all that feedback in our project management tool, in our case in Jira, just again to keep it all in the same place. Then we implement all the adjustments that we discussed. We deliver the updated version back to them. So once the requested changes are complete, share the updated version with the client for a final review, allow them to confirm that all modifications meet their expectations. And once that's done, we are finalizing the whole project and charge our remaining part for the setup fee. So after delivering the updated version and confirming that all changes have been successfully implemented, send the invoice for the remaining 50% of the setup fee. And usually we position this final payment as the completion of the development phase for the project, or the milestone if the project is more complex. So that's it. And once you've charged them the second payment for the project, so after the solution goes live, there are two more things to discuss. First, the maintenance. You remember our maintenance package. Let's stop here for a moment and discuss the possible retainer models for AI automation agency. First of all, I suggest that you don't focus on that. We are not building a SaaS. We are not focused on our monthly recurring revenue, MRR, from this monthly maintenance fee. This $200 minimum maintenance fee that we charge, mainly it is to cover the infrastructure costs, which is usually up to $25 per month if we are hosting the solution itself, the code, and just to keep the communication open, just to stay in touch in case they want us to update something or develop more features for that solution. So yeah, clients may see us as a technical partner, so that's why they also want to stay in touch. But in case the actual development work is required, we would evaluate it as a separate project, as a separate milestone, and we would charge a separate fee for that. And a few tips for handling maintenance contracts. So first of all, try to avoid difficult clients, what I call difficult. Be cautious with clients who might demand more than the maintenance covers. And if they do, just charge them additional fee for additional work, or always include a backdoor in your contract. So make sure you have provision that allows you to say, hey, listen, I'm going to provide you with everything you need to handle it on your own, but I cannot provide this maintenance anymore. There is also another model. We call it automation as a service. In this case, you are actively involved each month. Then you charge them an ongoing fee in thousands rather than hundreds. But we don't go this route. It is harder to sell. It is harder to justify why they should pay you $3,000 per month every month. So it is just a bit more advanced. So instead, try to focus on delivering solutions charging setup fees, and this minimum maintenance package, just $200 or $300 to cover the infrastructure costs and for prompt and LLM in use updates. That's it. Then make sure to get testimonials. Obviously, you need to build your portfolio, so try to stay in touch and actually get feedback from the clients. First of all, immediately once you've completed the project and you got your second payment, ask for the feedback, just to describe what it's like to work with you. Ideally, ask for video format. Obviously, there are no results yet, so the only thing they can comment on is how comfortable it is to work with you, how professional you are, how responsive you are, etc., etc. But then later on, request testimonials on the results achieved, and this way you will build your case studies, right? So encourage clients to track and measure results so you can build case studies after a few months. Once you ship your solution, request the data points they have at that moment. So before starting using your solution, this will be for your reference, and then review them once in a while to track progress. And once you have some significant results, make sure to build your case studies and make sure to demonstrate them on your website. This will ensure your credibility. How do we scale? There are two main paths that we can take. The first one is to stay as a service-based business, and the second option is to transition to a product-based business. What I believe and what I'm personally doing is using a service-based model as a stepping stone to eventually move into the product-based space. Now, let me explain. So option number one is scaling as a service-based business. And if you decide to stick with service-based model and actually scale, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it, but there are a few steps that you need to follow. The first one is to build your expertise, and the best way to do this is through an AI agency. Don't rush, don't try to skip steps. Start with an AI agency model just like we did. Gain hands-on experience, develop your expertise, and build a portfolio. This is crucial. Without a track record and proven results, it will be really hard to scale or land bigger clients. The second step is to target larger businesses. Once you've built your expertise and confidence, you can start targeting more established companies like enterprise level, where the stakes are higher. Larger businesses have significant operational bottlenecks, and if you manage to use AI to solve those, you're not just offering a $2,000 chatbot. Instead, you are saving them millions annually, which justifies much bigger payments for you. Step number 3, consider combining AI consulting plus AI implementation. In other words, become an AI partner for bigger companies. Start with an audit of a company's processes and identify where AI can optimize operations. Then, if you have the capacity, take on the implementation yourself. If you don't, you can partner up with a technical team and they will handle that part. Or if you manage to sign a larger business, a larger company, usually they have in-house technical teams, so you can just guide and consult them and they will do the implementation itself. And the last step, or the last tip here for this approach, is to use value-based pricing. Instead of pricing based on the hours it takes to build something, switch to value-based pricing. For example, if your AI solution saves a business $1 million annually, you can charge 20% of that value, which is $200,000. This approach allows you to land bigger contracts and scale more effectively. All right, the second option for us is to move into a product-based business. This is when you build something packaged like a SaaS solution, and the key to success with this approach is to go really deep into a specific industry or niche and solve a very targeted problem. Why? Well, as I mentioned before, because even though companies like OpenAI and Anthropic dominate the AI space and release updates that can wipe out a lot of startups, they are not going to dive deep into solving the specific problems of every single industry. That's where our products can stand out. So this is the approach that I've decided to take. In 2025, I'm shifting my focus to building a product-based business, and the main appeal for me is scalability. A software as a product has almost zero marginal cost of replication. You can sell it to thousands of businesses without spending more time and resources to deliver it. Compare that to a service-based business where you're still trading hours for results. Even if you optimize and streamline all your processes, still you're trading hours for results. Now, I'm not saying that service-based businesses are bad, of course not. Look at McKinsey, for example. They are a service-based business and one of the most successful consulting firms in the world. They make hundreds of millions of dollars, so they work. But for me, I want to build a product, something scalable. You know, ChatGPT is a product, and for OpenAI, it doesn't matter whether 10,000 people use it or 100 million people use it. They don't have to dedicate extra human hours to onboard each new user. They might have to scale their infrastructure, but anyway, the business model itself is incredibly scalable. Here's the key though. You can't take shortcuts. One of the biggest mistakes I made with my previous startups was trying to cut corners. It doesn't work unless you are insanely lucky, but usually it doesn't. So anyway, I don't have 15 years of domain expertise in any specific niche or industry, so I can't be sure which product to build or which industry to target. I need to validate my hypothesis before committing to building a product. And what is the best way to validate my ideas, to validate my hypothesis? The best way to do that is get paid for solving real problems. And that's where my plan comes in. The first step is exactly the same. Start with this service-based business, build expertise through an AI agency. So by continuing as an AI agency, we'll niche down and build hypotheses about which industries and problems we can solve with a specific AI product. Step number 2 is to validate your hypothesis through real projects. So instead of guessing, we'll work with businesses in this niche to create custom solutions. So we will use our agency as a tool, okay? We'll get paid for those projects and use that as validation. If businesses are willing to pay for the solution multiple times, that's a strong signal that we are onto something. And then step number 3 would be to transition to a product-based model. Once we've built custom solutions a few times and validated the demand, we'll turn those solutions into a product. From there, it's all about scaling and growing the product-based business. That's the roadmap I'm following. I want to emphasize that a product-based business is not inherently better than a service-based one. It's just different, and I tried to explain my point of view, and that's the path I've chosen for myself. But I couldn't jump into it right away. I had to start with an AI and automation agency model to gain some experience, to build a track record, and just figure out where the opportunities are. Now, in 2025, for us, it's time to niche down, validate the ideas, and eventually transition into SaaS. Well done, guys. If you've completed the whole video, honestly, you can be proud of yourself. Now you have a complete step-by-step roadmap with daily actions for getting your own AI agency off the ground. Remember, you can always come back to this course using the timestamps below, but the main thing I want you to take away is this: all the knowledge and theory in the world is worthless without action. The real difference between people who just watch tutorials and those who actually make money with automation isn't know-how, it's execution and consistency. That's exactly why I put together this daily Gantt chart for you, so you can stay consistent if you follow through. And on top of that, we've built an exclusive community you can join. Inside, you'll get proven templates for outreach, sales, and proposals, plus ready-to-use solutions you can sell, like the UI for chatbot widgets, standalone chatbot pages, and custom dashboards built by our development team. And most importantly, you'll have access to weekly Q&A sessions with me and my CTO, where you can troubleshoot your projects, brainstorm your ideas, and get direct feedback on what you're doing. You'll also become part of an active, supportive community, including me, where everyone is focused on clear daily actions and real results. Alright, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!